Alrighty, there we go. Done with all the social media stuff. Let's get the stream started. I was good this time. I prepped room on my desk instead of struggling to find space to put everything this time. And I got all the boxes kind of prepped, like already out of the thing, so I'm not dealing with unpackaging as much stuff to streamline this a bit. Hey, Chris, what's up? All right, so last time we left off, we finished off all of the WTR and Arcane Rising classes. So, Guardian, Ninja, Brute, Warrior, Runeblade, Ranger, Wizard, and Mechanologist. Today, we are going to be starting with Illusionist and going on from there. Hopefully, we finish up everything else. So it's Illusionist, Necromancer, Assassin, and then all of the talents, as well as opening up the rest of my product. I should make it so I can actually see the chat easier. Look at us being ready. Yeah, prepared streamer this time. What were the hits last stream? So this is what we got last stream. It was basically depression. And we did 16 boxes, I think. I think that's how math works. We got 3 legendaries. Stonewall, Shelter, and Tunic. Tunic's a good hit. And that's it. In the rest of our like foil majestics and shit, to adjust this slightly so I can see a little bit easier. So foil majestics and other random hits. Need to sleep that prism. And then for our treasure packs, whatever the heck they're called. Hey, dude, what's up? Cold foil. Cold foil. Cold foil. And cold foil. This light really isn't picking up the foiling. Let me see if I can adjust this slightly. I think it's because it's earlier in the day, so I have a bit of natural sunlight. Yeah, those rusted relics certainly go hard. That picks up better. Let me know if there's a glare, though. So, not the best. I'm a little concerned about the pull rates of stuff in this set, but we're going to see as we continue on. Pull back up the Illusionist cards. Got a bigger trash bucket this time because I overflowed my trash bucket last night, and my entire floor was just pack wrappers. By the like halfway point of the stream last night, I was literally just throwing pack wrappers on the ground. It was so silly. How are y'all doing today? Anyone else been watching the coverage? I saw that Rose was watching the coverage. I watched like a little bit of it. I caught the Enigma Kano game between Jude and Jacob. That was a pretty interesting game. I only kind of half watched it because I was playing Final Fantasy at the same time. What do you mean again? Looking for scrap and ooh, we actually got something. Oh my god, we actually got something. I didn't know you could get good cards out of these. Wait, that's crazy. Oh, oh, Asmongold. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not a right wing political reaction streamer. I have no idea what you're talking about, and I don't use my eyebrows nearly enough to be compared to Asmon. God, he must have some incredible upper forehead muscles from how much he uses his eyebrows. Well, that was a good way to start off stream. Reminder to anyone watching this, we are doing a review of the set, just my initial impressions. I haven't read through all the cards yet, so we're doing that on stream, just giving my first thoughts as I read through the whole set. If you missed out on any cards, check out the previous streams. The last stream we went through the WTR and Arcane Rising class heroes. The stream before that, we went through all of the Majestics. This stream, we're doing Illusionist and Forward. So check out the previous streams if you missed out on any of my previous initial impressions and you are curious about them. We're opening packs at the same time. I buy and sell cards. So if you guys want anything that you see here, let me know. Shoot me a DM on either Discord, Twitter, or whatever. I'll be able to sell you whatever you want here. And I also buy cards. So if you're looking to sell anything, let me know. I'm always buying. I buy pretty much cards from any TCG. So just let me know. I'm always buying. That being said, let's jump into it with an absolute banger of a card. What a great start to the stream. We got a banger first hit followed by a banger first card to review. And I need like a little bit of light here to see these foilings because I can't actually tell which card is foil right now. Let's go like a little bit lighter on this. Silken Shroud, Illusionist Equipment Head. When this is destroyed, create a ponder token, and it has Ward 1. Functionally, this is like the Oh God, what's the name of that card? It's like Dyadic Dreamscape or something like that. The legendary that makes a ponder or something like that. That's illusionist. This feels like almost like a better version of that card, but it's Sage legal. This card is great. You get one defense plus a full card out of this. You don't get control over when you get that card though, which is really the problem with this. But I mean, whatever. Beggars can't be chooser. You're still getting, you know, between 2 and 4 value out of this helmet. It's incredible. This helmet is insane. Um, Probably one of the best equipment in the set, to be honest. The real problem that I see with it is going to be in some of the illusionists, not every card is something that you want to arsenal in your deck. So something like Droma, you're pretty happy arsenaling any card in your deck, where something like Enigma, you're a bit more picky. So that's like a bit of a problem with this card. And also, oh, and we got another hit out of this box. We got a Riptide. I don't know if we would call Riptide a hit though. It's Riptide after all. I wonder if Jesse wants this. Something like Enigma also, you really want to use your armor specifically to protect your board. So you're like being conservative with your armor and waiting to use it for a very opportune time. The way that Enigma wins is creating asymmetry of number of cards both players have access to and using that, leveraging that asymmetry to fight over the board. This doesn't really help with that. It's just raw value, which is still good. So, maybe there's a world where you play an Enigma deck that's less focused on just raw board state, and it's more like that Mystic Enigma deck that played Pathwell Traveled to do lots of go again shenanigans. But in a Protect the Queen style deck, it's less good because of the way you're trying to use it. But the card's still incredible. And another cold foil. I don't know if I would say this is good against Shunt because you might not have this up when they shunt you. That's the problem with it. Like you have a strategy for when you're trying to use your armor in the matchups, and you don't have control over when you do this. If this was a cloaked equipment, then I think it would actually be better, just so that way you could kind of pick and choose when you use it. But that's not the speak of the devil. Got a cold foil of it. Um, you don't get to pick and choose when you use it. So something like the ward cloak gloves, I think are really good for that kind of thing. Now, if you're able to, not really ever take damage versus the warrior, and this just kind of sits on board indefinitely until it's time to fight over your board, then I think that's okay. That's going to come down to like playing games of that matchup and seeing how often that really happens. I don't know. Haven't played the matchup yet. But I could see a world where, yeah, they don't actually output enough damage where it's relevant. Like, whenever they swing their axe at you, you block 2 cards, you put a thing in play. Okay, now let's fight over my board. You've never presented any real damage at me, so I never had to crack my helmet. And then what's nice there, too, is actually, no, that doesn't work because it's Ponder, so you're going to arsenal the card. I was gonna say you could use the card that you draw to be the resource card to swing your board with, but that's not how that works. But I mean, this is still incredible. It's just need to be aware of when it is and when it isn't good, because I don't think this is 100% always good. I don't think this is like windmill slam this in every single matchup in every single illusionist. Moving on, we have the illusionist chest. It also has ward 1, and it has when this is destroyed, create a vigor token. Not nearly as good. I guess it's technically better in some situations than the just make a resource chest. But honestly, I think, if we're talking Enigma, I'd rather blocking chest. I'm not really sure where I would care about having the resource specifically. It's like maybe okay in Prism. Like I could maybe immediately use the resource in a lot of the different Prism configurations of the deck. Might be good in Dromai, but kind of dubious. You really want to be pitching to make that Ash early on. I'm not really sure. I mean, the value on this is good. It's 2 value out of your chest, which is pretty good. Fumble here. It's okay. It's reasonable. Next, we have the gloves. Ward 1, when this is destroyed, create a might token. This is at least easier to use because you could always use the might pretty much. And for our next treasury pack, we got Ravenous Rabble, and that all you got. I wonder if we can actually assemble any of the panoramas by the end of this. I like this a little bit better because you can always use the might token. But I feel like your glove slot is pretty contested in a lot of the illusionists. You have some pretty high quality gloves between them. So that would be my real worry for this. And then you always have that issue of, sure, I have a might token, but it's kind of high risk, high reward because I have Phantasm on my attacks. So, pumping my attack and then hoping they don't have a popper is kind of dubious. I don't like this lighting I have right now. I think if I open the window, I think it gets shittier. I don't think I can really do anything about it. So, kind of similar opinion to the chest, where it's sometimes going to be good. It's pretty reasonable rate. I do dislike having armor though that is just ward. I would like to have control over when I use my equipment and use it to protect something, because that's the nature of illusionist. It's not just raw value. I'm trying to protect my board a lot of the times, or like fight over an on hit or something on a critical turn. Like you lose quite a bit of value by not really getting to choose when you block with your armor. I think if this was like War 2, then it'd be like really good. Onto the boots. Same thing, but agility token. These are pretty interesting just because you can do something similar to what we were talking about earlier with those Ira boots of, oh, I know that I'm going to keep a full grip on this turn, or I'm going to at least keep multiple cards. I'm going to use this as an extender. So like maybe it's a prism thing. I guess you don't really get to choose when you do it though, because it has ward. So you got to be able to use that agility right away, which is kind of dubious. Yeah, I don't really like these. I really don't like this cycle very much. It's really just the helmet that's the standout. On to the rares. We have Shimmering Mirage. This is a zero cost blue illusionist defense reaction. It has Mirage, so it's the phantasm when blocking. And then it has the effect of, while this is defending, while this is defending, when this chain link resolves, banish this. You may play it this combat chain. I remember reading this one before, and I thought it was pretty interesting. I like this quite a bit. It's functionally a 4-block versus go wide decks. It's like what's the defense reaction that we had before that was the 5-block? It's facing on the name right now, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And then that one also has the phantasm when blocking. But it wasn't keyworded yet. This reminds me a lot of that. The problem with that one is it was a 5-block, so it's kind of hard to actually get full value out of that defense reaction. And even when you do, you might get got by your opponent pumping it in reactions, and then you lose your defense reaction. Like you put 5 on 5, and then they play an Art of War, pumping their attack by 1. Now you lose your defense reaction. You threw away a card basically. Where this, if you're blocking 2/2 or 2/3, it's going to be pretty unlikely that it actually gets pumped by enough to trigger the Mirage. So I like this quite a bit. So it's going to be a bit easier to actually get the full value out of this. And honestly, 2/5 really wasn't that common of a breakpoint. We're 2 to 3 to even 4, like putting this on most cards that you're just going to block in a normal game is going to be pretty easy to get the full value out of this. It's just going to be, am I playing against any go wide deck, I guess? Though it does require them close the chain, so that does narrow the scope down a bit of what's going to get played against. But I think this card is quite good. It's just going to require a very specific meta, which, is a running theme of a lot of the cards that we've been talking about. A lot of these cards are like niche tech cards, and we got a cold foil Wind Cutter. That's pretty cool. Card is Oak-Age out of 10. On to the commons. These come in a cycle. Power Mix Power of Make Believe. This is a 3-cost illusionist attack, 7 power, 3 defense. This has Mirage, and it gets +1 for each card with 6 or more power defending this. Kind of interesting. It's a Raging Onslaught that you really can't block with versus the decks that it would get its text on offense. So, like, if you're putting it in your deck against the go wide decks, you can block with it and attack with it. Against the go tall decks, you can really only attack with it. All right. It's a reasonable finisher. I'm not a big fan of this, and I don't feel like these kind of cards really lean into the strength of Illusionist very much. Like, I could have just put a Raging Onslaught on my deck and it would have been about the same. The only upside is if I get to throw it against a Pauper heavy deck, which, like, this just, like, isn't how you typically win those matchups. Pummel and Seduce Secrets. Did not know that came in this. Yeah, not a big fan of this. Shimmering Spectre, 3-cost illusionist attack. This also has Mirage. It has 6 power and 2 defense. Is this the one that makes a shield? I think so. While this is attacking or defending, when it leaves the arena, create a spectral shield. This one I like a bit more. On defense, it's still going to be functionally a 3-block, but a spectral shield typically is going to be worth more than 1 in a lot of the decks because you get to attack with it or save it to cover a breakpoint at some point, or other shenanigans that Prism can have with auras like Merciful Retribution. So I do quite like it for that. And then on offense, it's still going to be about 7 value, sometimes more. I like this quite a bit more. I like this card. I think this might see play, especially at blue. I think the blue's like a pretty reasonable include in some of the illusionist decks, just as like a random resource card in your deck that sometimes does something. What was that Unity card? I literally have the playmat of it. It was the top 8 mat from that Nationals. It's like United We Stand or something like that. And it has the Unity effect of making a spectral shield as one of the different things. That was a card that I frequently considered playing in Prism and Dromai just to make the spectral shield if I didn't care about covering the breakpoint. The difference between this and that, I think, is that one, the Unite one, was it made it right away, I believe, and this one will make it. Oh no, this is also while it's defending. So this is worded differently than this one. This is not that one. This one. This one cares about the chain link resolving. Oh, they don't have to close the combat chain for this one. I'm sorry. I redact what I said earlier about the combat chain closing. It's just when the chain link resolves. So this has a much wider scope of the decks that you can play it against. Like, this just works against Ninja and stuff. And we got an Evo base legs. Fancy. So my impression of Shimmering Mirage actually went up quite a bit now that I just realized that. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Also, it's a popper that leaves behind a spectral shield, which is pretty good. No, it's not a popper, it's an illusionist attack. Hmm. Yeah, I guess you wouldn't play this for the mirror. I don't know. I feel the reason I was thinking about that was because for United We Stand, it was a popper because it's a light card, so you could play it for that functionality. So my brain was kind of connecting the dots there. But this wouldn't work for that. No, I think this card could have a home if your deck is able to get value out of the Spectre Field beyond just the 1 point of value that it represents. I feel like Cheating Scoundrel has been really common. Maybe that's just because I'm biased towards noticing it's there because it's a card that I wanted. So I'm recognizing when I open it more often. But I feel like I've seen quite a few of them. I'll end up doing a count by the end, but kind of interesting. It's also an OG Prism card. Like I would have considered playing that in OG Prism because it represents 4 value. In Enigma, I can't like. There's some weird things where I need to take this off my microphone. I have a. I don't know if I can get you guys to be able to see it. A Pikachu hanging from my microphone, and it keeps bumping into my hand as I put the cards down. I didn't know that Cheating Scoundrel came to EA, so I guess that answers your question. It's a Pikachu that I got from there's a train station in Tokyo that's like one of the main train stations that you go through. And there's a Pokemon Center connected to the train station, and it's a little train conductor Pikachu. So cute. Oh, got so many Pokemon plushies while I was there. Let me show you 2 of my favorite ones. Three of my favorite ones. Last time we went, it was pretty close to winter. Make camera big, I think. So got this kind of sense with the green screen on, but a shaman that's like a Christmas tree. Got there's like a museum exhibit thing going on where they're showing off like all these really interesting sculptures. And there's like a kimono Pikachu. Why is the green screen picking up yellow? Okay. This one's pretty cool. I think this was the exhibit. I have some pictures of it somewhere so anyone cares. And then this one is adorable. It's a little sweater, and I love it. The sweater has a tag for the company that makes it for the scarf, and it's a Wooloo company. So cute. I'm a sucker for the plushies. Yeah, I know she's dead, but so's Enigma, which your point was it's an Enigma card. Both of these things are true. They're both dead. Okay, on to the assassin cards. I believe this is the last class. No, we got Necromancer still after this. Graven Cowl. Assassin Head. 2 block with Blade Break. While this is in your graveyard, oh, it's the re-equip thing. While this is in your graveyard, at the start of your turn, you can destroy 2 silver. If you do re-equip it, when this is equipped from anywhere other than your graveyard, huh? When this is equipped from anywhere other than your graveyard, put a -1 counter on it. So does that mean that you start the game with a -1 counter on it? Because otherwise, I don't understand what the point of that text would even be on the card. It's not like you have other ways to re-equip it, right? Now, my question would be next, how much access to reasonable silver does Assassin have in Silver Age? Because, like, let's keep it a buck, this is a Silver Age card, right? Like, there's no way that you play these in CC. You have access to better shit. Maybe Huntsman would play this shit in CC if it's going like degen fatigue mode, but seems a little dubious. I think that hero's dubious though. So I'm gonna reserve my opinion on these until we get a little bit deeper into reviewing the assassin cards. Because if it's just the contract cards that we already have access to make silver, surely this sucks ass, right? Let me do a little pack maintenance before I move on to the next box. These cards out of my way. I'm assuming the whole cycle is basically the same thing. Yep. 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 Now, kind of interesting to note here, they didn't get a cycle of equipment here that cares about arcane damage, where most of the other heroes did get something like that. Now, Assassin already has that in CC right now, but not in Sage, because those cards are majestic. So, are we going to get something else for Assassin that helps them deal with arcane? Do they have anything that helps with arcane and Sage? Next gold pack. On to the rare. So again, we're gonna revisit these in a minute when I finish reading the rest of the assassin cards, because I'm gonna reserve my opinion until I see what they got for silver gen. They have the lantern, like the generic lantern, or do you mean this? Because this is a majestic also. It would help if I made myself not big. I forgot. Oops. The lantern's majestic. So they have the generic lantern that everyone else has access to. But like, I'm talking about them getting a specific hate card for arcane like all the other classes did. Fate Foreseen and my god. Oh, I didn't know the back card could be something. Wait, there's new lore. Oh, we got a foil shelter. Chat, how much is this? Nice. Okay, we're off to a good start today. We gotten 2 good cards. This is almost as many good cards as we got yesterday in 16 boxes. If you need it, shoot me a message. Oh, this was a really good first pack. Also, double majestic off the bat. 200-ish? Nice. Can't complain about that. Okay, moving on to rares. Mist Hunter, 0 cost. Okay, so we got some contracts. We're off to a start. It's a 0 for 4 or 3 block with contract. You are contracted to banish opponent's blues, and whenever you complete this contract, create a silver token. And then it has even more text. When this hits a mystic hero, search their deck for any number of inner chi, so that has to be flipped chi, and banish them. They shuffle. Oh, now that's a hate card. Holy shit. I am surprised that it's search for any number, not search for one. Oh, this has to be a good hit, right? As far as the common and rare equipment goes. I mean, yeah, in that matchup, this is going to be like one of the best cards in your deck, obviously. In every other matchup, I mean, everyone plays blues except for Dromai, so this just seems like a pretty reasonable workhorse card that you'll just play. It's just 0 for 4 that some amount of the time is going to make a silver. Seems pretty good. Next, we got a 1 for 5 contract, and then it has when this hits a hero. The contract is for reds, and it has when this hits a hero, banish the top card of their deck. If it's a red, repeat this process once. See, this feels like what I would have expected the balance of the previous card to be like. This feels egregious of like how impactful this is in the matchup. Now, granted, this works against every single deck in the game, basically, but still. Okay, this is a pretty good start of silver making, because these are cards that are going to work against almost any hero, and the rate on these cards is reasonable. That was a common, where this was a rare. So this comes in a cycle of every color. And there's also a common 9th through 0 cost stealth attack, 3 power, 3 defense. If you've hit with a dagger this combat chain, this gets go again. Seems okay. I don't feel like this is something that you actually want to play, though. Like, if you're playing Arachne Marionette, you'd probably just rather play something that's action point neutral that improves the power of your daggers. Like, yes, you could flick and do this. It's an Azuri card. Is it? Doesn't seem very good for Azuri. Like, what are you pitching a card just to attack with this? Like, what are you accomplishing? You played a 2-card 4. I guess it's a reasonable card to put on the bottom of your deck for later for an extender to help close the game, maybe? That still seems pretty dubious. It's not like you're winning the game through life total. You're winning the game through fatiguing them most of the time. I just don't even think it's really an Azuri card. I feel like this is supposed to be a Mario card, and the way that people currently build Mario, this doesn't seem very good. You don't, like, actually want to attack with your daggers in any other assassin. But if Slippy plays Kiss, they're going to block the Kiss, right? I guess you attack with you attack with the Kiss and it has go again from the hero power, and then you attack with this and then flick the Kiss and then this gets go again. But that's pretty low impact. Like, you're just playing a head jab. Like, this is a situational head jab, which doesn't seem very good. And we got a cold foil of the illusionist gloves. These are really pretty. I might keep these. We'll see. Depends on how much they are. Nadia! Hi! Oh, and we got a dash. Don't show Johnny. Nadia, do not show Johnny. Hey, maybe show Johnny. How do you guys feel about the young Marvels? Are these like something that people actually want because of Sage now? I'm assuming so, because I've been selling a lot of young, like, promo heroes on TCG Player. She's the small gay one you met. I don't actually know who that is. If I was to think about everyone in that friend group with no one directly saying that they're gay, the only one that I would have thought was gay with no context would have been Jacob. He's got that gay voice. But I know he's not. I mean, I think he's not gay. He might just be masking it by bringing his girlfriend last time. You never know. He seems tricky like that. Throw us off the scent by having heterosexual sex. But yeah, anyways, this card seems kind of mediocre. Like, do you really need an extender like this in Slippy? It doesn't seem like that really fixes the issues that Slippy has. Eh, I think I sleep. And that is the last assassin card. So we got two cards that make silver. And then reviewing the Majestics real quick. I don't feel like this is enough silver generation to make these good on their own as just like something good in every assassin. So realistically, these are just for Huntsman. I guess that gives Huntsman something that he is good at. Like, hey, I have this armor recursion. This is how I'm going to try winning the game by grinding you out with these. I don't hate him getting an identity like that, but that doesn't seem good enough. But yeah, seems kind of mid. Especially when like the power level of the format does seem reasonably high with things like Briar existing, where you're gonna throw like a fucking random contract card at the Briar, they're gonna say no blocks, go ahead and make your silver, and then just run you over with a really powerful hand. So I don't think that's good enough in the current landscape of the format. It needed to slow down significantly, I think, for that to be reasonable. We got a random Bard card. Okay. I'm not even gonna bother reading that. Now this gravy equipment was pretty interesting. Let's do this gold pack first, though. Looking for scrap, and this round's on me. I don't actually agree that Necromancer is the best class in the game. we got a Teklo chest. I think in order of, if I was to rank the classes in the game historically, I would put Runeblade number 1. I feel like that's low hanging fruit. Followed by Illusionist, followed by Wizard. Runeblade has been obviously one of the best classes in the game of all time. Illusionist has also proven to be one of the best classes in the game of all time. Illusionist has been, oh, that's weird. I have an upside down pack. Oh, this whole row is upside down. That's weird. Illusionist has basically been meta every single meta for the entire duration of its legality. I don't think there's been a single meta that Illusionist wasn't a part of the meta. The worst was probably that like one offhand calling meta where Briar was the deck to beat, and then Charles and them brought out that Oldhim Fatigue deck with the Warhorns. That was a pretty rough meta to be Dromai, but I think that was like literally the worst time to play Illusionist. And that's it. Like I think every other meta in the game, Illusionist has been one of the best decks. It always finds a way. Anyways, Carrion Crown. This is a Necromancer head 2 defense with Blade Break. It has action, destroy an ally, destroy this, draw a card, go again. Kind of interesting. Currently, I think the only like synergy this has would be what, destroying Oyston? Because you kill Oyston and then get a gold. I don't think any of the other allies do anything when they die, right? Trying to think of like any of the shitty allies that don't really see play, and nothing really comes to mind. Doesn't seem worth playing this. I guess you get the card back also, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, given the current play pattern of Necromancer, I don't think this is very good. Next is the chest. This has 1 defense with Temper. If an ally has been put into your graveyard this turn, this gets +1. That's pretty cool. Activate Gravy Bones on your opponent's turn to make this block for more. Obviously not good enough in Classic Constructed because Dead Threads is broken. Why would you play anything else? In Sage, I guess you don't really have any other alternatives for a chest piece that are good, so seems pretty reasonable to play in Sage. Question is Gravy's viability in the format, and it doesn't seem like Gravy's very good in the format. So, reasonable card, but bad meta position. Play it for the 2 block or a free filter, but it's not a free filter. Oh, you're saying how it works is you either get the block or the filter. Yeah, it feels like flavor text it having the 2 block. I wish this was an instant. I think if this was an instant, it'd be much more interesting. Being able to block and then sack your ally to draw a card would be pretty interesting. I know I said interesting like 3 times, but yeah, I agree with what I said. But having to choose between one or the other seems kind of mediocre. Now, these, I think, are just going into my current CC Gravy deck. I don't say think. I know. These are just going into my deck. I already play No Rune Boots, so this is just, like, it has any text on it, it's just better than No Rune Boots. So this is a AB1 Necromancer Boots, and they have a pretty cool ability. As an instant, you can pay 2, destroy this, and untap an ally you control. Destroy the ally at the beginning of the end phase. These are pretty sick. I was talking about this yesterday with Arcane Barrier that destroys itself in some specific matchups being pretty good, where you play the AB for the early phase of the game just to, fight over damage, but then you're winning the game by killing the wizard. not outlasting them, so you leverage the AB piece to put your wizard opponent in a position where they can't win the game anymore. It doesn't matter that you went to AB 0, they can't win the game anymore. So you use this to just kill the wizard. These are fantastic. There's like a lot of spots where this would have been great in the previous meta with Verdance, where I have a life point lead, but the Verdance is trying to grind me out, and I'm just going to use this to kill them before they can try finagling the game into a board state that is good for them. And also, if they are trying to fatigue you, this lets you kind of split the difference between AB and Mage Master boots, where, okay, my life total is clearly not relevant to this game. I'm just going to sack my boots to put an extra like 7 damage on the board. These are fantastic. I'm definitely going to play these. This definitely made the Verdance matchup just fucking unwinnable. Yeah, the boots are definitely golden. They're probably one of the best cards in the entire set that I've read so far. Like, I don't think we've seen very many commons and rares in the set that I would consider classic constructed good in the current hero pool. There's a couple that you might include in heroes that are terrible heroes, but I don't care about that. Like maybe play the Vengeance card in Ira, but Ira sucks, so who cares? Yeah, you'll play these Teklo cards in Teklo, but like Teklo still sucks. There's like some sideboard cards for Ranger. Yeah, like most of the commons and rares I don't think are classic constructed playable. So this is one of the best. This is probably the best classic constructed card we've looked at so far out of the commons and rares. Ooh, double swabby. Got him. And it being a 2 cost to activate this is kind of reasonable for your curve. Blue pitch, swabby swabby. Single blue pitch plus dead threads to swing with an ally. That's a 1 cost to swing ally twice. That's also pretty reasonable. So, yeah, this card's fantastic. Just gonna move these commons out of the way before moving on to the next box. Moving on to the Necromancer rares. These are specifically Pirate Necromancer now. Beneath the Surface, this is a yellow 2-block Pirate Necromancer defense reaction with 5 defense. It has Watery Grave, so you can play this from your graveyard if you meet the condition of playing a card from your graveyard. While this is defending, when it is put into your graveyard from the arena, turn it face down. And then for our gold pack, we have Looking for Scrap and Amnesia. This card's pretty good. It being a yellow is pretty nice for all the things that let you discard to make a gold. If the card that you discarded is yellow, we got just double majestic. Problem being is they keep banning all the fucking cards that let us do that. So, if we were talking post multiple bans, this card would be incredible. With all the bans that we keep getting, the play of this card is significantly lower, but the card is still very good. It's just functionally you're paying 2 to block for 5. That's pretty good. I don't know if I would play this right now. I think it's pretty interesting being able to sandbag this for later, where you're kind of using your graveyard as an arsenal, which is pretty cool. Because in some of the matchups where, let's take a Guardian matchup, for example, there's some Guardians that you're unsure if they're going to try fatiguing you or killing you, and you kind of have to hedge for both. And I don't really want to put a defense reaction in my arsenal and then they just stop hitting me and I get stuck with that in my arsenal for the rest of the game because they pivot into fatigue. Where this allows me to sandbag this in my graveyard as an insurance policy for either outcome. So I do kind of like it for that, where it kind of splits the difference there. Yeah, man, give us back just Tipple. I'm fine with no chart. Give me back Tipples. I just want Tipple back, man. I would like my deck to function. But yeah, I think this card is very good. It's my biggest concern is we keep losing all of the ways that let us discard this. So my valuation of this is going to increase with us getting cards unbanned. Moving on to the commons, these come in a cycle of every color. Man Overboard. This is a 0-cost Pirate Necromancer attack, 3 power, 3 defense. When this attacks, you can discard an ally. If you do, it gets +1 and go again. I think this card is not that great. My problem with this is the boners exist. So I would have to be living in a world where I am already playing max copies of the boners, and I want even more copies of them. And we're currently not living in that world. But, you know, if they keep banning cards, I guess we will end up living in that world, so we would have to play this card. It's just strictly worse because you can't hit the top of your deck, and it's the same rate. I think if the math on, like, if they change the numbers on this card, and it was a, you know, better, a higher power attack, now we're talking. But kind of hard for them to do that. Like, what are they going to give us a 0 for 5? Like, that seems kind of unreasonable. So I don't like this card right now. If they keep banning cards, I guess I'll include it in my deck. Tentacler Hole? Huh. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. This is a 0-cost, comes in every color. Pirate Necromancer, action 3 block with go again. Turn up to 3 allies in your graveyard face down, then create that many gold tokens. I think this card sucks. We're currently down horrendous for making gold, and we want the gold to get allies in our graveyard. If we're sacking our allies in the graveyard to make gold, what's the point? Now this does have some interesting applications of if we ever get a style of gravy that doesn't have to leverage its allies to win. Got a cold foil Two-Face. Like, imagine Gravy gets a weapon. I remember seeing someone on the Reddit posted a card that was like a fan created card, and it was just like a reasonable weapon for Gravy, but it was a two-handed weapon, so you couldn't play the compass. So you had to choose between playing a good weapon or getting to play the allies. So if we got like a Gravy deck that could just play uh just like pirate attacks plus the weapon, then maybe this is how we use all of the allies that we're putting in our grave. Like, what if the weapon was a 3 for 6, but you had to sacrifice a gold to attack with a weapon? Well, how are we getting all this gold? Something like that. I don't know. There's like, in a world with cards that don't currently exist, I could see this be pretty interesting. But in the current card pool of Gravy, I don't see any reason to play this. We're not that flush with allies in Grave. Maybe back when we had everything unbanned and we're just throwing our entire deck in the graveyard, this could have been interesting, but I don't see a world where I'm playing this. If this could hit both graveyards, then we'd be talking. Or if this hit yellows, then we'd be talking. I think if this hit yellows, I would consider playing this. I would probably play the blue. It's just oh god, what's the name of that card? Seafloor Salvage, I think. It would just be that. Yeah, I'm already debating on not playing Gravy for the next season. Moving on to the other pirate cards, we have Sky Warden number 161803. This is a 0-cost yellow pirate mechanologist attack action with 3 power and 2 defense. It has Galvanize. When this defends, you may destroy an item you control. If you do, this gets +1 defense. If a golden cog specifically was destroyed, you make a gold token. So it is like a mini version of the Majestic that we have that does this. Pretty cool. It doesn't really solve the problem that she has where can't really make gold or do shit. Forgot to slow roll that, but we got a cold foil premeditate. That's pretty cool. Doesn't really solve the problem where like you really need your opponent to be attacking you so you can galvanize your stuff. There's just even more of that type of thing. But in Sage, you don't, obviously have the funny Majestic card that allows you to do that. So having something that lets you do that is better than nothing. So helps her Sage viability a little bit, I guess. I guess you would probably still play this in CC, but I'm not really sure what the deck space currently looks like for her. Now, this is a funny one. I might have already talked about this on stream, but there was two cards up until the set was released that I was saying that I would like. One was, yeah, I definitely talked about this on a previous stream. It was modal attack / attack reaction, which we got as that majestic ninja card, and the other was one of the card. There's two cards that I want Marlin to get. One was an offhand that either counts as a gold or gives you a looting effect to discard and draw. Just some form of effect that would let you get your engine going in your offhand so you didn't have to play the Royal Hat. The other was a yellow 2-cost harpoon that said on hit make a gold and attacks for 5. And it also has when this is discarded, make a gold, so it would work with all of your discard abilities. Instead, we got a 2 for 5 yellow harpoon that has, if you've activated a cannon this turn, this gets when this hits a hero, destroy a card in their arsenal. If you do, create a gold. I'm not sure which one it would actually be better, but I mean, this is incredibly close to the card that I was saying that I wanted for the hero. She just needed like a few more ways to make gold, a few more harpoons, because you can draw into hands that just like don't have a harpoon, so you can't really do anything. So this is a glue piece that she really needed, and it being a yellow is relevant because you have Tipple port side and what's the 2-cost big game trophy shot, I think is the name of it. And then you also have I think it's gold the tip, which cares about having a face up yellow. So having some more yellows in the deck that you actually want in your arsenal would be pretty good to actually be able to put that card in your deck, because currently that card kind of sucks. Yeah, I would love to cut Crown of Dominion from the deck and be able to play New Horizons. That opens up so much for the deck. But it's the gravy problem of like you just need your deck to function, man, and it just doesn't function right now. So I mean, this is the card that I wanted, so obviously I think this card's really good. Majestic. We have Trench of Watery Depths. This is a Blade Break 1 Pirate Chest. I've already filled up my bucket with pack wrappers. Oh, but I can crush them down. Uh, when this defends, you may pitch a blue card. When this defends, you may pitch a blue card from your graveyard. So you block for 1 and then create 3 resources from your graveyard. Just like spawn 3 resources, but importantly also end up putting that card back in your deck. I think this card's pretty good, but I struggle to think of the application for it. In Gravy, Death Threads is broken, so you would never play this. Maybe in Sage, but like currently the only thing that's like interesting with this in Sage would be playing it with this. Glory Seeker? I guess. Could be interesting in maybe Marlin, but yeah, it's like, what do you need to find a way to use the resources on your opponent's turn, and there's just not that many good ways to do that. Maybe in Sage you're down horrendous and have to play Glory Seekers anyways, so you just play this as another way to do it, where you're just kind of spawning a bunch of free value. Seems kind of mediocre. Maybe that's good enough, but I can't imagine really playing her in Sage though with only the uh none of the majestic harpoons. Seems kind of dubious. Also, why would you play that over Azalea, right? Is Death Dealer legal in the format? Got another Teklo card. The arms. Death Dealer's legal? That's kind of surprising. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Snapshot Lexi deck. Maybe I'll play that when I start exploring Sage. Snapshot Lexi's been something that I've always wanted to play, but it was never good. Uh, I think this chest is really powerful, but it's I don't think the Necro card pool does a great job utilizing this currently. Or the pirate card pool uses this very well right now. So unless you're combining it with like weird generic shenanigans, might get better over time. So there's going to be like a card to keep an eye on. But right now, I think it's kind of whatever. Moving on to the rest of the pirate cards, we have Break Open the Chests. It is a yellow 1-cost pirate action. It is a 3-block. Turn all cards in all arsenals face up. Then, if there is a face up yellow card in any arsenal, create 2 gold token. Sick. I'm going to start arsenaling my allies so I can make gold. Honestly, we're getting really close to being that down horrendous. We're getting really like I'm just gonna raw dog this ally from my graveyard so that way I can make gold off of it. It's getting close. Uh I guess if you're including this in your deck, you are increasing your yellow count. Got another double majestic. You've got Loan Shark, you've got this, you've got Prismatic Leyline. You also kind of hit a critical mass of like, man, there's just fucking too many yellows in my deck. I'm either lacking in power because I don't have reds in my deck, or I'm lacking in blues to be able to cast the cards in my deck. So, not really a huge fan of this, but maybe if you're playing in a matchup that you know your opponent arsenal's yellows a lot, it could be interesting, but that seems like a pretty dubious sideboard card. Like, am I really going to waste space in my deck to sideboard this? Uh, and I don't think this like really is that incredible for the other pirates either. I guess it does give them access to some more gold now, because that was one of the problems for Puffin. But does she even really want to arsenal any of the yellows in her deck? It's like cards that you want to block with, right? Like, am I really going to arsenal the majestic version of this? I don't think so. So yeah, seems kind of dubious for me, but I could see a world that this sees play, but it seems mid. But even then in Marlin, it's like what yellows? You don't actually have that many yellows, and it's got to be. I guess it doesn't have to be flipped up from this, so you could put the yellow face up in your arsenal, then play this. That still seems pretty dubious. Maybe in Marlin, but you don't actually have that many yellows that you want to put in your arsenal. Fiddler's Green and Amnesia. Yeah, seems kind of mediocre to me. I mean, I'm not really that happy about putting a Goldfin Harpoon in my arsenal, to be honest. I'm making them so I can use them for other things, right? Like I just want to turn that into the top card of my deck somehow. I'm not putting the fin in my arsenal, putting the fin in my hand to put it in my arsenal most of the time. Sometimes you have to because that's just like where we are in the game. But I'm not going to include this in my deck because yeah, I'm going to fucking put a token in my arsenal. I'm just trying to think of like what are the good play patterns with this, right? Like Codex, I guess, is reasonable. Um, Codex, this big game. I don't even think that you play gold to tip right now. I think you're still a little short on yellows that are going to be working with that. On to the next one. Common. So this is going to be in a cycle of every pitch. Lighten the load. 0-cost pirate attack action. We got a Phi. When this attacks, you may discard a card or destroy an item you control. If you do, this gets go again. So it's like functionally the same thing as this, except for it's a 2-block instead. Technically, you can destroy an item instead if you just want the extender if you're flush with gold. I think that's kind of interesting. I think this is fine being a pirate card because all the pirates interact with items. I I think this card actually is a little bit better than this if you don't care about the block value, because it can just be an extender late game. Like, I could see a world that I play the blue of this. I don't need all this extra gold. I'm gonna crack destroy a gold with this to have an extender. That seems like a reasonable play, but I don't know if I'll include it in my deck currently. Next is Submerge. This is a 0-cost pirate attack action, 6 power, 3 defense. As an additional cost to play this card, put a card from your hand 5th from the top of your deck. Now, this one actually works unlike the Guardian one because the idea with this is going to be you put a card 5th from the top and then play a boner to kill the top card of your deck. So you can kind of like set it up. I don't really think that's good enough. Like, this is it's still a 2-card 6. It costs 0 to play. It's kind of reasonable. Yeah, I could see a world where I play this just to synergize with the boners if we're in that world where, like, if we're going to that world where we have to play a lot of boners in our deck to make it function, this seems okay. And it is actually a popper too, which is kind of interesting. On to the light cards. Now, this card is insane. Herald of Victoria. It is a 2-cost, 7 power, 3 defense light illusionist attack action. It has Phantasm, and it has the effect as an instant you can discard this until end of turn. Attack action cards your opponent control get -1 while attacking and defending. So we just power corrupt Fearless Confrontation. This card is insane. You can use this as a defensive tool against a go wide deck just to blunt a lot of their damage. You can use this to lower the attack of a defending card. Oh, got an extended art. Lower the attack of a defending card so it no longer triggers Phantasm. You can use this to save one of your angels if they're attacking it for exact damage. So now your opponent just can't throw 4 into your angels anymore. They have to respect this. And it's just a reasonable rate. Like, it's a yellow 7 power card. I'll just cast this. And it being a yellow is also just good. Like, I want yellows in my deck. I think not only is this going in my Prism deck, I think it's just going in the main board. This card is insane. This is one of the reasons that I'm debating on going back to Prism. This card is good in every single matchup in the game, basically. Like, I struggle to think of a reason to take this out of my deck. And you're just gonna like randomly win games off of this card because they attack like your Shariah for like they hammer your Shariah because that's all they can do, and then you protect it and then you lose the game instantly. I mean, this made fearless at home. It works on the defending cards to protect you from Phantasm, protects your allies just like Fearless, but it's also just a card I am willing to cast. Like, I'm so upset anytime I have to cast Fearless Confrontation. This, I'm perfectly happy casting this card as a 2 for 7. And on top of that, it works for everything for the entire turn. Fearless just targets the one card. This works on everything. So if your opponent's going 6 wide, this works on everything. Imagine this during the Zen meta. Holy shit. This card would have been insane. Like, this card is just actually nuts. I can't believe this is printed. This is the kind of shit that I've been wanting for years in Prism, but they made it even better. Next gold pack, we've got a Scar for a Scar and Truce. Yeah, this card is 11 out of 10. This might be one of the best cards in the entire set. we are probably going to see Prism rotate because of this card very soon. Now probably a card that is equally terrible to how good that last card was, because I see Bolton on the card, so I'm assuming it's bad. Roaring Beam, yellow cost, zero, sorry, yellow pitch, zero cost, light warrior attack reaction, 3 block, create a courage token. If there are no cards in your soul, return this to its owner's hand, then charge your soul. So you just get a free courage token if you're on 0 soul functionally. And then you get to charge to like kind of start your turn for other things. That's kind of interesting. But it's an attack reaction, so you had to have already done something on your turn. So I guess it lets you open your turn on a non-charge card. Like I'm gonna open on Snatch or something, and then charge. And now I can attempt to give my Snatch go again, I guess. Seems dubious. Also, it being conditional on you having 0 soul seems pretty bad. Is the charge optional, or is it mandatory? If there are no cards in your soul, return this to its owner's hand, then charge your soul. It's mandatory to charge, so you have to. I don't think this card is good. I'm sure the Bolton players out there will like either be cooking or be coping with this. But it reads pretty terrible to me. Next, we have a light equipment chest, Blade Break 1. If you would be dealt damage, you may banish this card from your soul to prevent one of that damage. If you would be dealt damage, you may banish a card from your soul to prevent one of that damage. If you do, destroy this at the beginning of your end phase. So technically, you can banish multiple cards from your soul with this if you're dealing with multiple instances of damage. Like, let's say there's a Rune Chant stack coming in. You can just spam banish cards from your soul to prevent that damage. That's kind of interesting. Also, back in the day with OG Prism, there's like maybe some interesting things that you could have done with having a shitload of cards in your soul, and then your opponent tries swinging in with like a bunch of Rune Chants or something, and I want to protect all my Spectral Shields, so I'll trade my soul instead. But obviously, then you're giving up on a better chess piece. I think this is a pretty interesting card. I don't think it's good because currently in the light heroes that we have, it's very hard getting soul, and the value of a card in your soul is incredibly high. So I don't want to trade a card in my soul for 1 point of value. But I think this is interesting. I think this is like one of those like I think this is a sleeper card that might be good one day. Like again, let's say we're dealing with a Scalata combo deck or something, and I just have a bunch of Genesises running uncontested. If I just have this one sideboard card, they just can't OTK me. Got cold foil of the Mystic Gloves. So like this is a card that I'm gonna set aside for myself for later, definitely. Like I can see this be good one day because this is unlimited use on the effect. I think if this is like do it once, this card is just dog. But it being uncapped leaves a lot of potential. Like rare Blessing of Themis. This is a 0 cost yellow light action aura 3 block. It has go again. When this enters the arena, name a card. Turn all cards with that name in banished zones face down. Whenever a card with that name is banished while this is on the arena, turn that card face down. At the start of your turn, put this card into your soul. Huh. This could have been interesting back in the day against Chain. I wish this was an instant instead of an action. Like, the fact that I just kind of have to guess is pretty annoying. Does this have any applications other than the Shadow Heroes? I guess against Ninja it could be pretty interesting, like playing this and then naming a combo card that they're gonna want to pop off with. Like using this against a Bonds combo could be pretty interesting. This might have saw play back in the day against Zen. Seems a little too clunky to do, but maybe would have been fine. Just like, hey, you're not. I'm gonna play this, and you're just not gonna kill me this turn, and then I get a free soul. And as I already said, the value of a card in your soul is pretty high in the current light heroes. Seems okay as a sideboard card potentially. Duty Bound Blitz, zero. So this is the common, comes in all colors. Duty Bound Blitz, zero cost, red, light attack action, 5 power, 2 defense. So this has to have some downside. Play this only if a yellow card has been put into your soul this turn. Go again. That's that's not bad. That's maybe even good enough to play in Prism. Ooh, we got an E-Strike. Regular one, not the exciting one. But, I mean, still, I'll take a hit. It's been a while since we've had a hit. God, how long has it been? Oh, my goodness. That is the first legendary that we've opened in a booster box today. Are you kidding me? Bro. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 boxes, and that's our first legendary out of a box. Not counting the box topper thing. Bro, the pull rates on this set suck. Holy shit. I think this card is actually pretty reasonable, though. Duty Bound Blitz. So ridiculous. Yeah, I think Duty Bound Blitz might see play. I would consider this in Prism. Seems reasonable in Bolton. But then you have to play Bolton. Soulbound Belief. This is a red 0 cost light attack action card, 3 power, 3 defense. When this attacks, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a yellow, put it into your soul, and this gets +1. It's kind of interesting. The problem is you can't really like manipulate the top of your deck in the light heroes, so it's not like something that you can really plan. I guess you can play Herald of Rebirth to stack the top of your deck, and then play this, but then it's kind of whatever. Yeah, this seems kind of mediocre in Prism. Maybe this is reasonable in Bolton, but like you have no way to stack the top of your deck unless I'm not thinking of a card. So this seems unplayable currently. On to the shadow cards. We have first off Pound of Flesh. This is a blue 0 cost Shadow Brute action. Each hero banishes a card from their hand. Each hero who didn't banish a card with 6 or more power this way loses 1 life. Oh, this is pretty interesting. Let me do this gold pack first. Wait for scene and hold the line. supposed to be like that with that little white spot there? Probably. And then it also has Go Again. This card seems pretty good. I think, back in the day during like Monarch, Tales, Everfest era, one of the cards that I always said that I wanted Levia to get was a Thoughtseize style of effect, because when I think of Levia, I always kind of associate her with Death's Shadow in Magic, which is like a black, either black, red, blue, or black and some other colors deck. And one of the things that it does is manipulate its life total and play hand disruption with other forms of removal. And I felt like she was missing that hand disruption. So I really wanted to see her get some sort of Thoughtseize. This is like a really good way to give her a Thoughtseize. It's an asymmetrical effect, because either I'm going to have no cards in hand when I cast this card, so it's one-sided. You lose a card, I lose nothing. Or I'm going to put a card into my banish that I can play from my banish later, so I'm not really losing a card. And it actually gives her a pretty good 0 or 1 card play. And she can even use this to turn off the Blood Debt, because she can play this, banish a 6, and then she won't take Blood Debt for the turn. I guess you would lose life if you play this with no cards in hand, which isn't necessarily the worst. I don't know if this actually changes anything for her, though, because she's still a pretty flawed hero. But this is the type of thing that I always wanted her to get. And it's a nice way to, like, use all of her cards, too, when people just go into blockout mode, which can help you connect for more damage. It can also let you do some interesting things, maybe, where, like, you set up your Blood Debt with some extra attacks for when you flip. I think the card is very good. And it being a blue is really nice. Deep Recesses of Existence. This is a blue 4-cost Shadow Runeblade attack action with 6 power and 3 defense. It has Runegate and Blood Debt. When the combat chain closes, you may banish this face down. If you do, for each hero that has lost life this turn, banish a card from their graveyard. This is pretty interesting. You can use this to, like, mess up your opponent's graveyard if they're playing a deck like Gravy that cares about stuff in their graveyard. But you can also use this for card advantage by banishing, because it doesn't banish the cards in graveyard face down, it only banishes itself face down, probably just so it doesn't create an infinite loop. But you can banish something with this into your own Blood Debt. Like, I'm going to banish one of my other Runegate cards, so that way next turn I can play it or something. I think this card is incredible. And like, 2 of the weaknesses, I guess 3 of the weaknesses that she had was inconsistency with making rune chants, which this set did solve a little bit with the equipment. Running out of good attacks, which this and that Majestic from earlier help with a little bit. And just kind of getting fatigued, which both this and the last card also help with. Kind of a similar thing with the running out of good attacks, but you can not be getting fatigued, but still run out of good attacks. And, like, this is a strategy that I implemented on a lot of heroes, where I'm not trying to fatigue the Vincent. I'm just going to block until they start running out of good attacks. Got the Majestic Cold Foil Mech Hat. Like, I'm just going to block on first cycle, and then when we hit second cycle, all of their good cards have been spent. Now they're just going to start throwing poopy turns for the rest of the game. Thoughts on Sage, like the entirety of the format? I don't really have any big thoughts on it right now, because I haven't really played any Sage. I hope Sage is successful, and that's my main thought on the format. I have low expectations of it, though, because I don't think 20 life formats work in the balance of Flesh and Blood. Like, I don't think the card pool is designed around, or the rules are designed around 20 life formats. I'm not a fan of that. It's one of the reasons that I wasn't a big fan of draft, though I had many reasons why I was not a big fan of draft in this game. I was really hoping that, you know, that set of equipment from Dusk Till Dawn that is better when you're going first or whatever. I forget the name of it, but they kind of suck. I was really hoping they were going to expand on that design space because I think that's something that Sage needed. My version of that I was thinking of would be a 2-block equipment that, if you went first, also gains you 1 life when you block with it. I think having a set of that would offset the imbalance of the play draw in the format. Maybe you have to tweak the numbers a little bit on it because maybe some heroes disproportionately benefit off of that. But I didn't want to just inflate the amount of armor in the format by just giving everyone 3-block armor, which is kind of what they went with instead. I think giving armor with life gain is better for that. Because then you devalue on hit effects in the format with all the extra armor. Like, armor is just better than life most of the time. All right, next gold pack. We got Oasis Respite and Ripple Away. And we got some tail. Yeah, I think this Runeblade attack is very good. I have not seen this one at all. Ember Forge Gauntlet. It is a Shadow Arm 2-block with Temper and Blood Debt. If this would be put into your graveyard from anywhere, instead banish it. Yeah, no problem. So 3-block gloves for the Shadow heroes that have Blood Debt once you finish blocking with it. This ain't no husk. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, I don't think these are very good. There's some like interesting things with Levia where you can play this to increase your blood debt count to turn on your flip. Schmeh. Her other gloves are just so good. The legendary ones that just like generate some extra value. This generates negative value. I don't think these are very good. I think this would be like maybe good in the case of something like Chain, where so long as I survive the early game, it becomes deterministic. But if me just having a few extra points of armor value, but then sacking life later on, that probably means that I would have died even if I just had 1 or 2 less points of armor. And even then, Chain has the new gloves that block for 2. So, like, you're giving up 1 point of armor value for the downside of blood debt for the rest of the game. Seems kind of mid. I guess it's reasonable in Levia in Sage if she never takes damage off of blood debt for the rest of the game, but that's a little dubious. That's not really something that you can account for. Next, we got Engulfing Shadows. This is a yellow 0-cost shadow defense reaction with 4 defense. It has blood debt. If this would be put into your graveyard from anywhere, instead banish it. So kind of similar to this last thing. This seems pretty reasonable. Yellow 4-block. You are adding some non-6s to your deck. And importantly, this isn't going to go into your graveyard for the grave fill. I think that's like one of the real downsides of these types of effects in Levia. You're giving up on grave fill to continue playing your randomly banished 3 cards. Though in the case of this, I believe she would be able to cast this from banish when she flips. I think that's how the wording on that is. So it's like the other defense reaction that she has. That's the 6-block, but only when she flips. And then 4 is a better blocking breakpoint than 6. So I could see this see play. This seems okay. Next, we got commons for Shadow. Depths of Despair. This is a 3-cost Shadow attack action. Fucking bow. 7 power, 3 defense with Blood Debt. When this defends, banish it when the combat chain closes. Huh. And you can't play it from banish. I don't think this is very good right now. I think you just play something else. Seems pretty mediocre. Fasting Carcass. This is a it's common. The last one was also common, so they come in every color. 0 cost shadow action with Blood Debt. The next red action card you play this turn gets Go Again, and this has Go Again. And I assume it's just the color that changes on each of them. Yep. So you can't play this from Blood Debt, but this is pretty good. One of the things that I know before when Cody was retooling the Vincent deck, like a year ago, I think, that he did to the deck was adding in more extenders to the deck because he found that any game that he got to start solitaring, he won, and would force his opponent to block for the rest of the game. And as soon as his opponent started blocking, they would lose. So he just needed to make sure that his deck had as many ways as possible to weaponize his entire hand. So this kind of effect is good for that. I believe he already included like a similar card to this of just like, I'm only putting this card in my deck because it gives my attacks Go Again. And oh, we got the Shadow Chest. Nice. I need more sleeves. Now the interesting thing is this has Blood Debt, but you can't play it from banish. So I'm kind of curious if we're going to get a Shadow Hero soon that can just play Blood Debt cards from banish or something like that. Or this is just on there as text for the Levia flip. Yeah, seems okay for Vincent. On to the elemental cards. We've got Strength of Seas. I'm pretty sure this card already exists. I think it comes in the other 2 colors, though, in the Terra deck. Don't quote me on that, though. I think that's true. It is a rare. It is a 2-cost red elemental guardian action. It defends for 3. Create 3 might tokens. Earth Bond. If an Earth card was pitched to play this, instead create 4 might tokens. It does not have Go Again. Man, what am I missing? This card is complete suck, right? Next gold pack, we got Scar for Scar and Remembrance. This is a 2 for 3 or a 2 for 4 at red. What am I missing? And it doesn't even have Go Again. This card is horrendous. Classic Guardian. Okay. One of the cards of all time. Arc Bending. This is a red 1-cost lightning ranger attack action with 5 power and 3 defense. When this attacks, if a lightning or elemental attack would deal damage this combat chain and instead deals that much +1, and if a lightning card was pitched to play this, it gets Go Again. This card is super good for Lexi if you're trying to do the lightning side. That was like one of the problems that all of the lightning stuff had. None of it. You didn't have enough Go Again to work with Death Dealer. So this is a card that you can play in that deck that's very good. I think I might give that deck a spin. The idea with the Death Dealer version of the deck, if you're unfamiliar, is you play Snapshot, so that way you can activate Death Dealer again, but you're activating it as an instant. So you activate Death Dealer, and then Death Dealer's Go Again resolves, giving you back your action point on top of drawing a card. It's pretty fucking good. But it was never good enough because I think you only had the 1 card in your deck that had that effect, the snapshots. I don't think anything else did that, which really meant that the rest of your deck kind of didn't do anything if you weren't drawing the snapshots. But this is great. This is a very good role filler for that style of deck. Next, we have Verdant Tide, 1-cost red Runeblade elemental action, 2 block with go again. Until the end of turn, if you would create one or more elemental or runeblade or tokens, instead create that many +1 of each of those tokens. Earth Bond, if an Earth card was pitched to play this, create an embodiment of Earth token. So if you fulfill that condition, no matter what, it's going to make 2 embodiments of Earth. And then it's going to basically give you Florian hero power for the rest of the turn. This seems pretty good, especially if you're playing the stack Florian deck. Play this, make some embodiments, make some rune chants, pass. It's like a ghetto Mordred tide. Having even more Mordred tides in the game is kind of scary. This actually might be Living Legend playable, to be honest. Obviously, not very good in CC right now. Like, the only hero that can play this is nothing. I could definitely see something pop up with this in the future, though. This is an inherently very powerful card. It's got that same thing I was talking about earlier with the light chest, where it's uncapped. So since this is infinite scaling, this card is dangerous. It's Mordred Tide that costs 1. Voltic Veil is a 1-cost red elemental wizard instant. Prevent the next 4 damage that will be dealt to you this turn. Lightning Bond, if a lightning card is pitched this way, deal 1 damage to the all opposing heroes. So it's a block 4 per deal 1. That costs 1. But it's specifically a lightning one. So this is just an Acilio card. This feels like a Icelander coded card. But it's not. It's Acilio. I guess there's some interesting things where you can use this as a defensive card, or hero power to discard it, or use this as a way to hold your not Voltaire. What's the name of your staff? You know what I'm talking about. The amp one multiple times staff. So it's kind of modal. This card is actually pretty good. I don't know if it'll see play, but this is pretty good for the types of things that Acilio is trying to do. And it's very modal. Elemental Strike, this, we already went over that. It's the Majestic. Onto the rares. Colors of Aria. This is a 3-cost elemental action, 7 power, 3 defense, while face up in any zone. It is Earth. Double Majestic. It is Earth, Lightning, and Ice. Cards, okay. I guess it would have been interesting with Starvo. I don't know if you would even play this in any of the other elemental heroes, to be honest. I assume this works for fusing because it's face up. Not 100% sure. It'd be kind of weird if they would make this card and it didn't work with the key mechanic of Aria Fuse. We got a Benji. It's like maybe there's some interesting shenanigans with this, so that way you can double fuse and the heroes that struggle to use the double fuse cards. So you just have a few more of those multi-element cards in your deck so you can reliably fuse those. But that still seems kind of mid. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this card right now. Then we have the cycle of defense reactions that we saw super early on. They are all, I believe, red 1-cost 5 blocks. Yeah. And then they have a different bond. The ice one gives a frostbite. The earth one makes an embodiment of earth. And the lightning one makes an embodiment of lightning. On to the commons. This doesn't come in a pitch color cycle. It's just a cycle of different elements of this effect. Laden with Earth, 1 cost, Earth action 2 block with Go Again. Your next action gets +3, Earth Bond, make an embodiment of Earth. So these are functionally like the lead with cycle where they're 1 for 3 Go Agains that also make a token. Makes a Frostbite, makes an embodiment of Lightning. I'm not a big fan with the Laden with Earth because you're just telling your opponent that I'm going to be very good at blocking next turn while also hitting them with a large number. So when you do this, they're just going to block and you're going to waste the embodiment of Earth. So you kind of just play to come to fight with no other text. The Frostbite could be interesting, but it's kind of similar where, like, okay, if I already know that I'm taking the turn off, I might as well just block. The Lightning one is kind of interesting because it's an extender. It's literally just lead with speed. But I don't really want to play a 1 for 3 Go Again in my Lightning deck. I have higher aspirations for the cards that I'm including in my deck than this. And it isn't a Lightning card for any of the stuff that cares about that. So I'm not a big fan of this cycle. It's kind of mediocre. Let me get the next box going. Chorus of Rotwood. This is a 1 cost Earth Runeblade action 2 block. It has Decompose. You can banish 2 Earth cards and an action from your graveyard. If you do, make an embodiment of Earth token, and it also makes 3 Runechant tokens. Does not have Go Again, importantly enough. You do get to go activate Grasp and then play this, or you could play that Ghetto Mordred Tide we were talking about earlier, then play this. Importantly, it is not make a Runechant, not make. It's not make a Runechant, make a Runechant, make a Runechant. So you're not gonna like super go crazy on this. It's just make 3 Runechants, so you'll get 1 more Runechant. That'd probably be too busted if it did that though. Card is pretty good. It being a 2 block red is like a little dubious, but if you're playing the like stack version of the deck, I imagine this is pretty good. Next gold pack, we have Snatch and Cold Foil Premeditate. I think that's our second Cold Foil Premeditate. And it is another card to decompose with, which is pretty good. I think this card is okay. Obviously, can't play this in CC. I don't think I would play this in Briar since it doesn't have Go Again. Like interesting in Florian. It feels like with the cards they printed, they're really trying to push Florian into being a stack deck in Sage, which is kind of surprising, given they realized how toxic that deck was to play against, and they banned what's the name of the staff that deals 1 and then makes Runechants? Like they went out of their way to kill that deck in CC, and now they're saying you should play that deck in Sage based on these cards. Like that when I read these cards, that tells me that is the intent of what they want you to do with the deck, which is very surprising to me. I wouldn't think that's what they would want us to do based on the toxic game design that had. Next, we have the Verdance version of this. Sowing Thorns. 0 cost red Earth Wizard action. Gain 1 life and then decompose. Decompose text. And then you can search your deck for an Earth Aura with costs less than the life gained this turn. Reveal it, shuffle it, and put it on top of your deck. So searches your legendary aura to the top of your deck because you gain 1 life off of this. So it fulfills that condition since it costs 0 to play that card. Could search other things like Channel Mount Broccoli if you gain more life on the turn. So that could be relevant. I mean, you would probably play this in your, and it's a 3 block with a nice. You'd probably play this in your deck as Verdance anyways, just because it's another way to decompose. What on earth did you just say? What on earth is the word that you just said? Yeah, I think this card is pretty good just because it says decompose. Honestly, like It's a reasonable decompose card and it blocks for 3. Low floor. Oh, konbanwa. Yeah, right. Me reading it and hearing it are two different things. Onto the earth equipment. Limbs of Ligma Balls. Blade Break 1, and if there are 4 more earth cards in your banish zone, this gets +1, so it is a 2-block glove sometimes. Well, seems okay. Earth equipment is pretty good just because it has the subtyping earth to give you the grave fill. Either I'm nice and I don't need this, so I can hold on to it for later to get more value out of this on defense, or I can cash it in now because I just need the grave fill so that way I can decompose this turn. Having that modality is pretty nice. Got Sigil of Grave Spawning Marvel. That is sick art. But yeah, I think these gloves are pretty good. Doubling Season. I heckin' love +1 counters and tokens. That's my favorite commander deck. 3-cost red, Earth action attack, 0 power, and 3 defense. While this is face up in any zone, if it would gain power, it instead gains that much +1. So the idea here is you're trying to combine it with cards like Sprout of Strength, which is we're going to talk about in a second, where it has multiple instances of +1 on it. So Sprout of this combined with this would make it a 6 power. But even at that point, that's a 3-card 6. That's not very impressive. I think with this starting at a base power 0 makes it very hard for this card to be good. But as we talked about multiple times, it's infinite scaling. Infinite scaling cards have a tendency to break the game at some point. So I feel like this card is going to go from unplayable dog to a busted deck that needs an emergency ban overnight at some point in the future of Fab. Like, this is just going to be broken to the point of I'm surprised they even printed this card. Like, this feels like a I guess you didn't learn from AMP type of thing of oh god, who's the guy that was doing the videos a while back where he's a Magic player that's also a game designer now, and he was looking at Fab cards and giving his opinions about them. I forget who that was, but during it he mentioned a couple times of like developers just can't help themselves with printing cards like this. They just can't not do it, and every time it's a mistake at some point is broken. That's what this kind of card is. This will break the game at some point, but right now it's terrible. Onto Commons Oath of Oak. Yeah, those are very good videos. I really enjoyed that. Oh man, all I can think of is Brian Gottlieb, but that's definitely not the name. This is a common, so it comes in a cycle. It is a 0-cost red that is an Earth action 2-block. Make 3 embodiment of Earth tokens. No go again. I mean, if you're playing a super defensive deck, this seems pretty reasonable to play. It's functionally, I mean, it's even better than making 3 toughness tokens, right? Like, because it's going to work on everything for the turn. So this card would be theoretically very good in a fatiguey deck. Imagine this back in the day in the that fatigue Briar deck from Nationals. Holy shit, this card would have been insane. And interestingly enough, you could have done some cute things where like maybe you actually make an embodiment of lightning in the deck. Like you play some other shitty non-attack, then play this, and then make an embodiment of lightning for next round. That could have been cute. This will probably be good at some point in the future of Fab. I could see this actually see play in Verdance, honestly. Seems okay in her. Because you can still go play this, and then attack with Waning Moon. Pretty good. Strength, sorry, Sprout Strength is just Nimbleism, but better. It's a 0-cost Earth action 2-block with Go again. Attack maintenance. Your next attack gets +1, your next attack gets +1, your next attack gets +1. Doesn't even specify attack action card, so this even works on your weapon. It's just +3 to your next attack. It's just unconditional +3. This is very good. I'm pretty sure this is already. Oh, we got a legendary finally. Holy shit. We're second legendary that we've gotten in all these boxes. Holy shit. I'm pretty sure this is already seeing play in Briar right now, which makes sense. It's not much to say. It's just +3. We already know that +3 go again is a good non-attack in the game. People will play this with conditions. This has no conditions. In fact, it has upside because the Earth subtext is relevant. It allows you to play some of the Earth Fuse cards that are kind of awkward to put in the deck. Like you can put Bramble Spark in your deck because of this. A 0/3 that's conditional. Very good. Not sure if it's worth playing the other colors of it, but I could see a world where you would do that. Onto the elemental ice card. So that was the elemental earth stuff, onto the ice stuff. Monolith of Glacia. This is a blue 3-cost Ice Guardian action. Choose one or more. Destroy target frozen ally, aura, equipment, or item. So that seems to be the theme from what I've seen of most of the ice stuff so far. I've seen like a little bit of the ice stuff, and it seemed like what they were trying to lean into was freezing and then destroying frozen things. I believe freezing was a mechanic back in Uprising that really wasn't explored very much. It was just like a tempo thing. Next gold pack, we got Snatch and Ripple Away. Two cards to do this is pretty expensive, but it's very high impact. Part of my question is going to be looking at what we get that Guardian can play, that freeze stuff, to see how much of it has go again. Because this doesn't have go again, and if all the stuff that freezes doesn't have go again, well, I guess this not having go again doesn't really matter because you would play this afterwards. But if the things that freeze don't have go again, then this is going to be very awkward to use. So we're going to have to see kind of what that looks like. And we're tacking on even more cards to it. So we're already starting off on 2 cards to do this effect. So it depends, like, man, are we going to be looking at 4 cards to blow up something? And just, we're going to have to look at the math of that. Could be very good. Frostbite, 0-cost Ice Wizard instant. Create a frost, and it's a blue. Create a Frostbite token in an exposed head, chest, arms, or legs zone. That's it. That's all it does. Makes the Frostbite in those zones. In one of the zones. Or, not and. I'm quite a bit dubious on this card. Seems pretty mediocre. Doesn't defend. It doesn't turn on your Waning Moon. It's just a blue that makes 1 Frostbite. It is an instant speed Frostbite, which can be interesting. So, like, for this to be good, you're going to have to do this in such a way where you trick your opponent, and it's worth more because giving them 1 Frostbite causes them to either pitch an entire full card for bad value or kind of skip their turn on what they were trying to do. So there's some tricky shit with it. In Icelander specifically, it would make 2 Frostbites because of the hero power. I guess it is basically the there's that blue non-attack from Uprising. It's like Arctic Incarceration, I think. It makes 1, 2, or 3 Frostbites. And you would play that in Icelander sometimes because you would play it from Arsenal to give them 1 and then hero power give them another. So this kind of does the same thing, but you don't have to play it from Arsenal. But you do need an exposed zone, which might not happen against a wizard because they're just going to have a bunch of AB on the table. Like, how often are you breaking down your equipment against a wizard? Probably not very often. Next, the ice equipment. These are arms. They have Battle Worn 1, and then as an action, you can destroy this. Destroy target frozen ally. Go again. These seem pretty decent. I think, again, we're going to have to see what it looks like for freezing stuff. Like, if you are able to freeze an ally with Go Again, these seem pretty good just as a way to blow up an ally without spending your action point or spending a card. because destroying this is free. One thing to note, though, by giving up your glove slot in Jarl, you will be giving up your mana sink, because very frequently you'll activate your gloves in Jarl to filter through your cards, because on the Gravy Bone side, there's going to be turns where I just put a bunch of allies in play and then pass turn and not let you filter your hand, so that way you can't draw into your equipment destruction. And in those spots, a lot of the times you're just going to pitch into your gloves to get rid of the extra cards in your hand to dig towards the cards that you need. So you are giving up on that, but this is a pretty good effect in that matchup. But again, it's dependent on what it looks like for freezing allies. And I just want to look at some of the Majestics that freeze just to kind of evaluate what the frozen stuff looks like for CC again. This freezes the Arsenal. That's the only Majestic. Okay, so we got a rare channel. This is the first rare channel we've ever had. It is a 0-cost blue ice action aura. It has channel ice, and then it has, when this enters the arena or at the start of your turn, freeze target ally, aura, item, or equipment while this is in the arena. So this doesn't have go again, so this won't work on the first turn with any of these destroy frozen effects. But since it's going to happen again at the beginning of the next turn, you'll get this trigger and then you can play one of these cards. So this does work with that, and it's only one card. I guess two, because you have to find a way to also pitch. I think that's the real problem with this. How do you get a flow counter with this in these types of decks? Because this doesn't cost anything. In something like Icelander, you can Waning Moon, but we're probably thinking about this in Jarl. How are we pitching and doing this? Like, are we activating our gloves for no value then playing this? Seems kind of dubious. It is a pretty reasonable way to blow up the Compass, though. That's a 4 card blow up Compass. But then you have to draw them in the right order as well. Imposing Visage, yeah, I could see that. Seems pretty dubious, though. But that is a reasonable way to blow up the Compass, I suppose. On to comments. This is going to come in every color. Conquer the icy terrain. I don't know why I thought it was thine. This is a 3-cost ice action attack, 7 power, 2 block. When this hits a hero, they may pay 2. If they don't, you may destroy a frozen card in their arsenal or frozen non-hero permanent they control. Again, this goes back to the how are we freezing stuff action point wise, because so far the only thing that we've seen that freezes is this, and I suppose this, but we're talking about Jarl realistically. I guess this works. Just gets the hero though, so that doesn't work. Pay 2 or destroy your hero. Keck. And we only have one ice card left, so like, where's the freezing? This is the only thing that freezes so far, really. Put on ice. This comes in every cycle. 1 cost red, ice action, 2 block, go again. Freeze up to 3 target allies until the start of your next turn. If this is played from Arsenal, draw a card. This is pretty good. This actually might be good for like Icelander in the ally matchups, just as like a tempo card. I'm just gonna ice your guys just so they stop hitting me. I don't care about blowing them up. I'm just doing this as a tempo card. And then I draw a card so it replaces itself. But that's it. Like the only way we have to to do this is this. Unless I'm missing something. Or this. There's a single card that does the thing. None of the other cards work. I guess this works with this, but Yeah, I'm not sold on this freeze package. Some people are gonna put it in their deck as just like an extra 2 card combo to blow up Compass and just luck sack into it, but it doesn't seem like a reliable strategy. I feel like a lot of the packages this set have been undercooked. Moving on to Lightning. We talked about this one yesterday. I think this card is very good. Sigil of Voltaris. It is a blue 0 cost Lightning Runeblade instant aura. When it enters or leaves, deal 1 arcane damage to target hero, and at the beginning of your action phase, destroy this. I really like this card. Not only is it an aura for the different cards in the set that care about auras. Ooh, got a foil of the Phoenix War. Um, So for the different things that care about auras, this checks that box. For the different things that care about lightning cards, this checks that box. And it's a blue that deals 2 damage that doesn't use your action point. And it's also a way to deal damage on your opponent's turn for some of the cards that care about that as well. Like we had that the Runeblade boots we were looking at yesterday that are 3 block boots if you deal damage to your opponent on their turn. So you can play this then block with boots. I think these are very good. I would like to include this in my Briar deck if I end up playing Briar. Strike twice, lightning, wizard action, red, 1 cost, 3 block, deal 3 arcane damage to any target. If you've dealt arcane damage to an opposing hero this turn, you may play this as though it were an instant. I think that's pretty good. It's like what? Lightning snapback, basically, right? But then importantly, it's got the lightning subtext on it, so that way it works with your staff. And it's saying any target is relevant for things like gravy. Next gold pack, we got Sigil Sold. Is this the first Sigil that we've gotten? And Amnesia. And the Middle of the Heart. Yeah, I think this card is really, really good. I would not be surprised if this ends up seeing play in a Classic Constructed just as like another lightning instant to nug your opponent with, or just like another arcane spell in the deck that's pretty reasonable. Importantly, it doesn't have instant as a subtyping for the hero power to discard it, but that's fine. Like, it's just another arcane spell that's pretty reasonable to include in the deck. I fucked that up. This goes over here. Okay, now we got the lightning equipment. Voltic Vanguard. Lightning Head. Instant. Destroy this. Prevent the next 2 damage that would be dealt to you this turn. Activate only if you played an instant this turn. Is this the exact same text as Twinkle Toes? Huh. I mean, I think it was pretty reasonable. I like Twinkle Toes. I think Twinkle Toes are pretty good. So I think the Runeblade boots that we were talking about earlier are probably better. But like, it also gives you something that's good against the arcane damage decks, which is nice. Let's see. Lightning Rares. Ion Charged. This is a yellow 0 cost lightning instant. Until end of turn, lightning and elemental attacks get +1 while attacking. I need to reread this. Until end of turn, lightning and elemental attacks get +1 while they have go again. Interesting. So, like the super go wide lightning decks, it's an anthem for you. And it is in itself action point neutral. I think if we ever, this actually could have been pretty interesting in the Aurora Living Legend deck, because you had all the pot of greeds, so you could go pretty fucking wide on those turns. But I think you actually preferred just physically having more attacks on the chain instead because of the ball lightnings. Like you'd rather just have something to carry the lightning ball buff. I think currently it's pretty hard for you to get full value out of this in a lot of the decks, and it's going to be pretty inconsistent a lot of the time. Like you're just hoping to enter Magical Christmas Land when you draw into this. That seemed kind of dubious. It's commons out of the way. Oh, no, I put it down wrong. No, no, don't fall. Yeah, I think this card is pretty dubious, but as we mentioned before, it has unlimited potential, so this could one day be very broken. Onto the commons. Every they come in every color. Overcharge, one cost, lightning attack action card, one power, three defense. Interesting. So what's going to change is the number on the card. If you played an instant card, this chain link, it gets +3 and it has go again. So it is a functionally a 1 for 4 go again. Hmm. That doesn't seem very good. I guess if you're like down horrendous on go again cards in your deck, maybe. Like I don't know what your go again situation looks like in Sage. But this isn't actually a very good card. It's just a filler card if you are lacking in physical copies of that kind of effect in your deck, as I see it. Not really. I looked at the tail end of the Enigma Kano game between um Jude and Jacob, but I didn't watch the whole thing. I just kind of caught the tail end of it. Kind of busy with pack openings to watch that. Plus, I still need to finish reading the set. Next, this card came in the Aurora deck. So kind of interesting. This one came in the Aurora deck, much like, um, where is it? This card I'm pretty sure came in the Terra deck, but this is only coming in red in the set, where this we're getting red, yellow, and blue in the set. I'm kind of surprised they did it that way instead of just giving us the full cycle of both of them. Weird. But I think this card is quite good. I was even considering playing the yellow of it back when that was the only one we had. It is a red 0 cost lightning instant that prevents the next 3 damage that would be dealt. Pretty good. It's just a block 3, any type of damage kind of card. And importantly, it's something to turn on your cards like Twinkle Toes and that this hat we were just talking about. Because you just like physically need cards in your deck that can do that kind of thing. And then in the case of Aurora, it's also just a lightning card that you can play on your opponent's turn if you need to activate your hero power to make an embodiment of lightning. Like imagine a situation where your opponent's attacking with arcane, because you probably play this in an arcane damage matchup. You prevent 3 with this, you prevent some damage with your hat, you AB once, and then you also activate your hero power to make an embodiment of lightning. That's a pretty reasonable turn. Haboob! I remember seeing this card and laughing at the name and not remembering what it did. It is a 0 cost red Draconic Illusionist action aura 3 block. Go again. At the start of each turn, put a storm counter on it, then destroy it unless you destroy an ash you control equal to the storm counters on it. Attack action cards get -1 while attacking or defending. That's pretty interesting. And it doesn't specify attacking a hero or defending a hero. So this will work also for protecting your dragons, of like changing the math of how much damage they have to put into your dragons. And it's also going to work as an anti-pauper thing. This reminds me, again, of a card that I kind of designed a while ago that I thought would be cool for Dromai. Um, I wanted some sort of ash sink where you could sack all of your extra ash for some effect. I used to play the card game or digital game Duelist, and the hero I played in that, Abyssian, had a mechanic where she would make abyss tile token things on certain squares on the arena, and like her whole gimmick revolved around making those. And she had a card in her deck where it was like a late game card that you'd use as a finisher, or like 9 mana or something silly, and you would sack all of the creep tiles you'd created to deal damage to all of your opponent's permanents and your opponent themselves equal to the number of creep tiles that you destroyed this way. So you'd like nug your opponent and their board for like 9 or something like that, sometimes more. I thought that would be pretty cool for Dromai to get something like that. Sack all your ash to nug your opponent. This is like within the spirit of that. It's a way to weaponize all of your extra ash. I think this card's pretty good. I don't know if I would have played it in Dromai back in the day. I think the most interesting part about this is actually the kind of similar to the Prism card, where it can be used to stifle the amount of damage that your opponent can do on their turn. Like if they're playing a super go wide aggro deck, this is going to be worth quite a bit. It is also just a red go again 0 cost 3 block for your deck as just like a starter. I could see this card be one of those things, kind of like Sigil of Solus and Dromai, where you're at the very end of the game and then you put this on the table, and it's like one of the cards that lets you claw your way to victory because your opponent is trying to fight through this, and you just keep leaving this on the board, and you get like multiple turns of value out of this. If you get like 2 turns out of this card, sometimes even 1 turn, this card's probably insane. The more I think about it, I think this card is actually just insane in OG Dromai. And there's nothing they can do about it. They can't interact with this. Also, you can just play this, and it happens at the start of the turn. So like I can play this on 0 ash and just sack it at the beginning of my next turn. Like I don't actually have to do the thing, and my opponent doesn't even know if I'm going to keep it around based like the turn that I play it. So they kind of have to make a decision with imperfect information, and then I can decide whether or not I want to keep it around. I'm very surprised this is not end of turn, like burn them all. So like 1 ash gives you 2 turns of this. This card's insane. This card is actually just broken, I think. Yeah, this card's nuts. 10 out of 10. I would have played this in Dromai. Yeah, I would have slammed this card in Dromai. And this would have solved a lot of your bad matchups as well. Like you struggled into the go wide aggro decks. This would have been great there, while still being good against the popper decks. And it also would have been nice because a lot of the aggro decks just like throw random poppers in the deck, like Command and Conquer. Well, this is just like a main board card that I can play against them that turns off their sideboard cards. Very good. What time is it? 6 o'clock. I got 2 more hours before I gotta bounce. Oh, I didn't actually do the gold pack. I set it aside and then saw a draw my card and started yapping. We got Oasis and Midas Touch. Inflame the Firebrand. It is a 0 cost Draconic Ninja attack, 2 power, 3 defense. When this attacks, if you control 2 or more Draconic Chainlinks, you can go again. 3 or more. Your attacks are Draconic this chain. 4 or more, this gets +2. I really like this card for Fi, and honestly, Syndra. Getting the second effect. Oh, we got another legendary finally. Got a Stonewall Gauntlet. Getting to the second effect of it, of the things that are draconic, is pretty easy. So using this to turn on your Art of Dragon stuff is pretty good, especially with you losing Brand of Cinderclaw. Like this kind of helps make up for losing that effect in the deck. And then sometimes it's worth 4, but most of the time probably isn't. I think that's the biggest thing with it. Like, you're sacking value by playing this card because of the 0 for 2. Which, if we're doing that just to play Art of Dragon, you're kind of sacking value to make it back up with the Art of Dragon card. But you could have just played like vanilla cards and it would have been about the same rate. I think this card is pretty decent, but it's not always going to be that great. Smoldering Steel, 0 cost, red Draconic Warrior attack reaction, 3 block. Target dagger, attack gets +1, and when this hits a hero, deal 1 damage to them. While this is in your graveyard, if one or more frostbites will be created under your control, instead banish this card. I really like effects like this in the game. Haboob! I wish we had more of this. I really like those types of things, like Necrogardna in Yu-Gi-Oh! I really enjoy cards like that. Things that sit in your graveyard for later. Maybe I end up playing that D-React just because I like that type of effect. It's basically a Necrogard. It just sucks actually getting into your graveyard with the current BNR. This doesn't really matter right now. So this is probably mostly just a Sage card because Ice Heroes actually exist in that format, unlike CC. But it's good that this exists when we finally get Ice Heroes back in the game. Smoldering Scales. This is a Draconic chest with Guardwell block 2. If one or more Frostbite tokens would be created under your control, instead you may destroy this. I mean, I already gave my opinion about the Frostbite stuff on the previous thing. Same with this. Hey, the card from the thumbnail. Didn't actually know what it was. Fire that burns within. 1 cost, red Draconic attack action card, 2 power, 2 defense. I'm like cutting myself. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm like cutting myself on the packs. Really annoying. When this attacks, you may discard a Phoenix Flame. If you do, draw a card, and this gets +2, and go again. It seems reasonable, and the deck's trying to do that. Maybe play this in 5. I think not having to actually play the Phoenix Flame and cashing the Phoenix Flame in for value is pretty valuable. I think this card is pretty good. I don't think I would have played it in Dromai. I don't think it's good enough. If it was a 0 for 2, I might have played this in Dromai. 4 feathers, 1 crown. This is a 0 cost red Draconic attack action with 2 power, 3 defense. When this attacks, it gets +1 for each Phoenix Bannerman in its name in your graveyard. Now let's read all the Phoenix Bannermen to have an opinion about this. I'm just going to say the subtyping on it. So Phoenix Bannerman head, 0 cost Draconic action, 3 block, legendary. Search your deck for a Phoenix Flame, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck, create a Ponder token. That one's pretty good because it makes a Ponder token. Might have played this in Dromai just because of that. I'm just carrying forward a card into next turn for my arsenal, but it's a 3 block, 0 cost red that lets me push my board. Like, I might have played this with no Phoenix Flames in my deck. It's just give my board go again, arsenal the top card of my deck. Same thing, but makes a Vigor token, Might token, Agility token, and then, well, Phoenix Flame. So this caps out at 6 because they're all legendary. Unless we got some at Majestic or something, but I don't see any over here. So eventually this is a 0 for 6. That could have been interesting in Dromai. Just like, I have a red 0 for 6 that I'm just going to keep pitching for later. And when I see these later on in the game, they're pretty good. And I don't mind pitching reds. I think the Ponder token one is the best. I think the rest just suck. Yeah, I think these suck. Unless your deck like does a lot with a Phoenix Flame, like you grabbing a Phoenix Flame from your deck is pretty positive for you, and you're able to like you have a bunch of effects like this that convert a Phoenix Flame into a full card. I think that's kind of suck. Hmm. Yeah, but I might put this in draw mine. On to the Mystic cards. Serpent Kiss. This is a 0-cost blue Mystic Assassin attack action card. It is a 1 power 3 block stealth card. When this attacks, create a Fang Strike or Slither in your hand. If you transcended, make Bull. And when this hits, look at the top 2 cards of their deck and banish one of them. This card is very good. This is too much text for a blue 0-cost card. They heckin' love Assassin over there. So it is a blue 2 go again, or 1 go again, and then you hold on to the Fang Strike for later. That also banishes cards. Man, this card's insane. This card's very good. Wax and Wane. This card would have been nuts with Moragai. It is a blue 0-cost Mystic Illusionist instant. Choose one or both, put a +1 counter on a blue aura you control, or put a +1 counter on a aura with ward you control. So if you chose both modes on Moragai, it would have gotten 2 +1 counters, which would have given it more ward, which would have then also given it more power. So this is like what, +6 value on your Moragai, I think? Because you're getting what, 4 power to defense on it, so you're getting 6 out of a blue. Fucking insane. Holy shit. And then on like other stuff in Enigma, it's still a blue that's worth 3. This card's very good. And importantly, it's going to give you a +1 counter on something that doesn't already have a +1 counter, which, you know, there's some stuff in Enigma that doesn't naturally have +1 counters. So it's going to be an extender for you to give that card go again. Shapeless Form, 0-cost blue Mystic Ninja attack action, 1 power, 2 defense. Whenever you play an action card from Ephemeral, choose a name, it gets the chosen name. That's pretty interesting for combo shenanigans. This seems like it would have been nuts with the Bonds shenanigans. Also means that maybe you could have included some other combo cards in your deck that you wouldn't normally have played because of how the combo lines work. Like, I don't want to play all the previous chain links. I'm surprised this doesn't have the name a card. Like, I'm surprised it's not worded like this. Where you choose a card on the combat chain and it gets that name. You have to choose an existing name that's already there. Does it choose any name? Kind of interesting. I'm surprised they did that. I'm not really sure what the application for this exactly is going to be, but it seems very good. Then we got the Mystic Chest. That is Cloak. It blocks for 1. At the start of your turn, destroy this. And to uncloak it, it is as an instant, you pay 3 Mystic resources to turn it face up, and then you put a +1 defense counter on it. Importantly, it doesn't like have Blade Break or anything like that. So if your opponent closes the chain or anything, you can block with this multiple times in the turn. Or if you have a way to flip it back face down somehow. You're paying 3 resources to do that though. So it's basically not good unless you get multiple blocks out of it, right? And I feel like I have higher aspirations for a chi than blocking with my chest twice. Seems pretty mediocre right now. but this could be good one day. All right, let's get to the gold pack. We've got 7 boxes left. Fate Foreseen and Remembrance. Fuck Remembrance, man. I've gotten so many of those. Proceed to misform. X. Choose X equipment with cloak you have equipped, turn them face down. I mean, we immediately got the thing that makes that chest better. Does it even make it better? I don't even think that makes it better. Like, yeah, I can do the chest again, but I still had to pay a full card to block with this. I guess next time it enters with another +1 counter. Do you keep the +1 counter when it flips back face down? I'm curious how that works, but that doesn't even seem very good. I haven't really played recently. In theory, I think the wager card is good. I think the play patterns that the wager card presents are good given the fact they keep banning all of our fucking cards. I plan on putting 3 in my deck and testing that, and very likely going down to 2. I don't think it's a 3 of, but I'm going to start with 3 in my deck to see it more often and see how I like it. And I do think I want to change the deck a little bit for what attacks are in the deck, because I think you want more chonky, substantial attacks to go with it. Got the Teklo arms. Because if all you're doing is throwing shitty attacks with it, I don't think that's that good. So I'm kind of interested in some like 6 power attacks or something to go with it. So that way I'm like asking a real question to my opponent, like, hey, do you want to actually block 9? I didn't think so. But I think the play pattern is pretty good. Like, I'm going to play this with 2 cards in hand. One of them is a pitch card, and the other is an ally. Either this hits and I make a gold, so I hero power discarding the ally, or it doesn't hit and then I discard the ally and make a gold. Either way, it works. I have the upside of this hitting, and then I can hero power instead. I mean, sure, you can do it with prismatic, but you're not always going to have prismatic. Like, for that to line up is difficult. But yeah, I'm looking at like Red Restless, for example. Where do we leave off? The X card? Yeah. I don't I'm pretty dubious on this. I could see this be interesting, but it's probably pretty interesting in the other Enigma, the legendary Enigma that you can't play in any format. Fluid Motion. 0 cost blue mystic attack action card, 2 power, 3 defense. If you've created a card this turn, it gets go again. You get the wager card. Yeah, this card's good. You're just going to put this in, like, this is just going straight into Enigma. This card's very good. It's Spectral Prowler without Phantasm and isn't contingent on you have to already have the Spectral Shield in play. You can attack with this, then wait to create the card. I mean, yeah, Restless is build your own big attack. Not Restless, Prismatic. That certainly works, but I'm trying to include more cards in the deck that let me do that type of play pattern, basically. And big red attacks is the only other thing I can really think of. Would you play this anything else? I don't think this is good in new. You don't make tokens often enough in the deck. I could see it maybe in Zen, but seems kind of dubious. It does have the benefit of being a stubby hammers target in LL. Seems kind of mid though. Manifest Muscle. This is a 3 cost blue mystic attack, 5 power, 3 defense. If you've created a card, this gets +1. I am not a huge fan of this card. I think it's sometimes going to make its way into Enigma, just as like a random big attack in your blue base, but not really what I want to be doing in the deck, so I'd prefer to not play this if I don't have to, but it might end up being a filler card in the deck. I don't mind going off topic. It's fine. You don't have to apologize. Um, yeah, it might end up being too many reds. But like a lot of people play Swell, so it's kind of like instead of playing Swell, maybe I play a big red attack. The same idea. That is one nice thing about the other D React. The fact that it's a yellow does mean it gets to be a part of our resource base instead. I think I can cut back alley down to 1. I could probably do that. All right, how much further do we have in the spoilers? We have the rest of Mystic, we have Chaos. Is that it? Oh yeah, Reviled and Revered, and then some of the generics. Okay, we're almost done. I think we can finish this before 8 o'clock, which is when I gotta bounce. Mistborn Protector, 0 cost, blue Mystic defense reaction with 2 defense. When this is defending, if you've created a card this turn, it gets +1 defense. I don't think this is very good because I'm not really trying to make. We got Sigil of Solace and fucking Remembrance, man. I'm not really trying to make the Spectral Shields on defense like that. So I'm kind of just throwing away the Spectral Shield when I do this. I do like having blue defense reactions in the deck, but I think the one that gets +1 for each blue in your pitch zone is better. And this doesn't really do shit in the other 2 Mystic heroes. So I'm not a big fan of this card. Billowing Mist, 0 cost, blue Mystic action, 2 block. Your next attack this turn gets +1. The next time you would create a card with Ephemeral this turn, instead create that many +1. Go again. Huh. I assume with Enigma, they would both get the +1 counter. I'm not sure. If it gets the +1 counter, this seems really good in an Enigma. Because you'd play this, transcend, hero power, make 2 shields with a counter each. You get 5 on offense and then 2 on defense. So it's a 2 card 7 with 2 blues. That seems pretty good. And even if it doesn't get the counter, it's still a 2 card 6. I think this card is good in Enigma, potentially. I don't think it really has much play in the other heroes, though. Unless you like really care about getting another tiger or something. Like maybe the second tiger is like important for hitting your breakpoint of doing your turn, but seems kind of dubious. Look within, 0 cost, blue Mystic action, 3 blocks, search your deck for a chi, reveal it, put it on top, go again. I could see playing this back in the day in CC just because, like, the speed of the format and it being about having specific funny turns, and that was all that mattered. But I don't think this card is actually that good. It's just if the format is that degenerate that getting a cheese the only thing that matters, then maybe this is good. But even then, you still have the hat to do that. And in Sage, I can't imagine the games are the only thing that matters is find the chi and you win. So in Sage, I don't think this is good. In CC, non-existent. In Living Legend, seems not that great, but maybe it's fine. Because, like, surely it's transcend block with hat win game, right? I don't want to spend a card when my hat does the same thing. Spreading Mist is, man, all these cards are 0 cost except for that one attack. Spreading Mist, 0 cost, blue mystic action to block. Your next attack this turn gets go again. Next, it's got the same text that this one has, where you get to make an extra of the token. Kind of interesting. I don't think it's very good. I mean, maybe it's still fine in Enigma, just like whatever. I'm just gonna make 2 spectral shields is good enough. It's just like a way to transcend that is still on rate potentially. But that's assuming that both shields get the +1 counter. The other heroes, this doesn't seem that great. On to Chaos. And I have no idea how to evaluate these Chaos cards. Topsy-Turvy. Chaos Head, Arcane Barrier 1. Instant, destroy this until the end of turn. If one or more cards we put on top of a deck, instead put them on the bottom. Huh. Kano breaks their hat. Put it on the bottom. That's kind of funny. I don't know if that's good, but it's funny. Oh, the other cold foil channel. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of this, but it's okay. Descend into Madness. That's how I feel reading these Chaos cards. 0 cost blue, Chaos Assassin reaction. Attack reaction. 3 block. Vanish a random card from the defending hero's hand, then they draw a card. Huh. Technically this sucks because you're discarding a card from your hand for no value essentially to say one card in your opponent's hand is randomly a different card. But I could see a situation where this like messes up what your opponent's trying to do. Maybe you gotta keep these out of their hand, but that doesn't seem very good. Like, are you really gonna gamble on that? Onto the commons, so these come in every pitch color, and I'm just gonna turn off my camera for half a second so I can blow my nose. Concoct Disorder. This is a red, it comes in every color because it's a common. 1 cost, chaos, attack action, 4 power, 3 defense. When this attacks, each hero puts the top card of their deck face down in their arsenal. If 2 or more cards are put into the arsenal this way, this gets go again. And from our gold pack, we got Fiddler's Green and Midas Touch. I mean, for some decks, this is going to be incredibly annoying where you like give them an arsenal they don't want because their deck doesn't ponder very well. Against a lot of other decks, they'll go, "Thanks for the free arsenal, idiot." And I guess you're also getting a free arsenal out of this. It's not that bad if, like, they already have an arsenal and you go, Tunic, play this, I'm going to get a free card. Seems okay, but kind of dubious. Hyperinflation. This is the opposite of the chest, I believe. It's a 0 cost chaos attack, 4 power 3 defense. When this attacks, cards cost 1 more to play this turn. This affects all heroes. Go again. So it's a 0 for 4 go again that then taxes everything else for the rest of the turn. I guess that's interesting for like taxing defense reactions for your opponent. It's only this turn though, unlike the chest, which is the turn cycle, so it affects your opponent's next turn. So this really only seems interesting if you're like hitting, playing this on a turn that your opponent would want to do stuff on your turn. But I mean, if it's like wizard shit, they would just do it in response to this. Defense reactions would be kind of annoying, but like, whatever. Seems kind of mediocre. Onto Revered. Tough as a rock. Oh, it's even got rock in the background. It's a blue 3 cost Revered Brute attack action. It has star power 3 defense. If you have less life than each other hero, this card's base power is 6. Otherwise, it's 0. So it's functionally a blue 6 sometimes. Oh, we got the extended art of this. That's kind of cool. Didn't know that came extended art. Do all the Majestics come extended art? It feels so random which ones we've gotten extended art so far. Yeah, seems good in Tough Nut. Not sure how much that changes things for him, but Energy of the Audience. This is a yellow 3 cost Revered Guardian attack, 6 power 3 defense. If you have less life than each other hero, it gets +1 for each aura of suspense you control. Seems okay. Big chunky attack. I feel like having attacks of a good stat line isn't really the problem that she's having, but I'm not really sure. I feel like it's more of a you're playing Guardian cards and Guardian cards suck is the problem, and this doesn't really change that. Theoretically, this could get pretty big if you have like a bunch of blue auras chilling and you played some stuff on your opponent's turn, so now you have like a bunch of things in play. But like, man, what are we capping out at like what 10, which is pretty good, 3 for 10. But like, you get to do that once per game. Comeback kicks. Am I just making this up, or did this card already exist? I could have sworn there was boots that already exist for Revered. Whatever. When the crowd cheers you, if you have less life than each other hero, you may destroy this. If you do, gain 1 action point, and it has 1 defense with Battle Worn 1. So you get 1 block and then get to gain an action point. Seems pretty good, especially for how the Revered heroes play. Well, very early on. Okay. I just could have sworn that I've like already held this card before, but I must be mixing it up with something else. It does look very similar to a lot of the other art from that set, so I'm probably just mixing it up. Yeah, this seems good for those heroes. They struggle using all their action points because they're Brute and Guardian. Emboldened by the Crowd. This is a yellow 3 cost Revered defense reaction. So this must block for a lot. Yep, 6. If you've been cheered this turn, it costs 3 less to play. Oh, that's really good. to 0 for 6 on defense. That's a really good tough nut card. Maybe a good Pallades card. I'm not sure what her cheering on the opponent's turn looks like. Yeah, this card's good. Hulk Up. This is a common, so it comes in every color. It is a red 4-cost revered attack, 8 power, 2 defense. If you have less life, it costs 1 less to play, so it's a 3 for 8. It seems reasonable, I guess. 3 for 8, good stat line. I don't know if that's like worth being in these heroes for. I don't even know if you would play this, but it's reasonable. Stadium Security, red 3 cost, 7 power, 2 block. When this is in your arsenal, if you've controlled a toughness token this turn, it gets Ambush. Oh, that's really interesting. So it's blue 6. Oh, that's true. It's a blue 6. You're right. You're right. Okay, so this one's really good. This one isn't a blue 6 though. But this is was it Down and Dirty or whatever, the Majestic? But you have to jump through a hoop first. Schmeh. I guess it's you might play the yellow, but doesn't seem that great. Now the reviled cards, and then we're almost done. And we got 4 boxes left, so we're almost done in that direction as well. Chain of Brutality. This is a red 0-cost attack, 2 power, 3 defense. So this is probably mostly a RKO card. If it has 6 or more power, it gets Go Again, and when this hits a hero, the next attack action card you play this turn has base 6 power. This seems pretty good. Play this, activate hero power, make it 6, and then the next thing you play is also 6, so you get like a 3-card 12. Doesn't need to hit, though. If it doesn't hit, and they have like defense reaction or something, like they block with 1 card, you activate hero power, they defense reaction on top, the next card you play is still going to suck. And you already spent your 1 per turn hero power, so no shenanigans. It still seems pretty good, though. Also forgot to open the gold pack. Fate Foreseen, and I did not know you could even get that in the set. This is the first one we've seen. Yeah, this seems good in Archaeo. It's good when you have a normal 6 afterwards. Why? If you have a normal 6 afterwards, it had no text. The whole point is to make the next thing base 6, right? So you throw 2 wimpy attacks in a row, and you actually go above rate. If you throw CNC afterwards, then that defeats the point. You're saying this still gets Go Again? But like, okay. I guess. That's not good, that's just a legal play. That is a game action in the game of Flesh and Blood that you're allowed to take. That doesn't make it good. Walk in My Shoes. This is a yellow 0-cost reviled guardian attack, 3 power, 3 defense. So for Lyeth, it'll be 2 power. This is the only thing getting Go Again, not the CNC. Like, I'm just saying that's not good. You going this hero power throw 1 card 6 is good. That's a 3-card 12. This into just something that's already 6 is fine. Like, okay, you're allowed to do that. You're missing out on the value of this card though by not making the next thing base 6. If this has If this has power greater than its base, it gets +1, so it's going to go back to base 3, basically. Crush, if this deals 4 more damage to a hero until the end of their next turn, the base attack and defense of attack action cards they control are halved rounded up. So basically, Crush, you have my hero power now. Kind of interesting. Yeah, seems pretty reasonable in Lyeth. Reviled Equipment Arms, Blade Break 1. If you have the same health as a hero, it also counts as them having more health than you, and them having less than you. So the important thing with this is it means at the beginning of the game, all of your I need to have a specific life total stuff is going to be online. I don't need to get a life lead to turn on my cards. This is pretty good. Seems like the type of card that you're going to have to play for your deck to function, because turn 1 of the game your deck doesn't work. Snarky Prick. This is a red 0-cost reviled attack with 1 power and 3 defense. When this attacks a hero, look at the top card of their deck. If it's a red, destroy it, and this gets +4. Holy. And we got another Cold Foil Channel. Boom. That's pretty annoying. I don't know if you would actually bother including this in your deck, though. Because, like, I guess in Archaeo, you just play this and it's all upside. Either I'm just playing this and it's gonna become a 6 anyways, or some percentage of the time it gets the buff and I destroy the top card of their deck. So it seems okay in Archaeo. Like, what, against a lot of decks, like 70% of the time it's going to trigger. This is a common, so this is going to come in every color. Insult to Injury, 0-cost red reviled attack, 3 power, 3 defense. When this attacks a hero, if you have more life than them, it gets go again. Seems pretty reasonable. You kind of needed some more extenders in the deck, so he's got 2 new extenders. Bad Breath, 0-cost, reviled action, 0-cost red, 2 block, Intimidate. The next time an attack you control hits this turn, create 3 might tokens. This seems pretty good. Try to, like, daisy chain multiple big turns, I guess. Gives you some more reach on your big turns, so that way you actually get true damage on them, and they don't just block you out. Like, okay, you're going to have your big turn, I'm just going to block this turn. Prove to me you can do it again. Like, this is good into that kind of play pattern. Yeah, seems reasonable. And then lastly, we got generics, and there's just a couple. We talked about this one yesterday. Someone asked my thoughts about this in Gravy. I don't think this card is very good. It's if you control gold, it gets +1 defense. Its base defense is 1 and it has temper, so you get 3 defense out of it if you have gold. But you actually want to block with it once if you're trying to use its effect. It has action, pay 2, destroy this. The next time you would draw a card off of gold this turn, instead draw 2 cards. So functionally, it is a gold token, but it doesn't have the subtyping gold on it, which is kind of a big deal, not having the subtyping. I think if this was a gold, it'd actually be better. Yeah, I don't think this is very good. It's just functionally a 2 block that then is a gold. Eh. Chest. Defense reaction, destroy this. You may add an action card from your arsenal to the active chain as a defending card. This is just Bunker Beard, right? Or similar to it. Ironically, this card also has a beard in the art. Doesn't seem very good, but maybe sideboard playable. These gloves are very good. If you have no cards in your hand, this gets +3 defense and has blade break. So it is just a generic 3 block glove in decks that are going to just block their whole hand. So either for a fatigue deck, or importantly, Enigma, you can use this as like a protect the queen style card where you kind of block your hand and then block with this at the end, and then you blocked with 4 cards plus this, protected your board, and then you swing with your free shield at the end of the turn, or at the beginning of your turn rather. Fatigue Gravy? That sounds like nonsense. I was talking about a Fatigue Gravy deck in LL for a while as like a funny joke. Um, CYB Gravy, and you keep putting your yellow CYBs back in the deck with Scoob. Think about it. Pummel and gold or a cold foil Midas Touch. It can't be gold foil. It would destroy itself. That's pretty cool. Ooh, and another shelter. Nice. I was saying Living Legend. I'm pretty sure it said Living Legend or LL. But yeah, these gloves are nuts. Feel free to, if you have the list, I'll take a look at it. Then we have a couple more rares down here. Unflinching Foothold. I think I've seen some people play this. This is the anti-dominate one, right? Yeah. Battleborn 1, and then as an instant, you can destroy it, and target attack loses and can't gain dominate. Just a sideboard card for some of the Guardians and other shenanigans in the format. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, good sideboard card. These are also kind of like lead with speeds. Clear Water Elixir. This is a cycle. This one gives your next attack +3. They are red 1 cost 3 block generic actions with go again. This and they all give +3. This one, when you play it, you can destroy a Blood Rot Pox, and if you that you control, and if you do, you gain 1 life. So it's like a 1 for 6 go again in that scenario. I guess they all gain a life when you do the thing. This one destroys an inertia, and this one destroys a frailty. Oh, very good if you're in the matchup that's making them. So, reasonable sideboard cards. Ransack and Raise. This is a generic action 3 block. Oh, we got a Command and Conquer. Hold on. Hold the press. Command and Conquer. Finally getting some legendaries. Holy shit, these box openings have sucked. Uh, destroy target landmark with cost X and create X gold tokens. Go again. Huh. So it's like an anti-library card, I guess. Library is the only landmark that sees play, right? And what I would give to play this in Gravy to destroy one of my own things to make gold. So down bad. We need gold so badly, man. Good sideboard card to exist in the game. Destructive Tendencies, 0 cost blue, generic instant, choose one or both. Remove all counters from target item, or remove all counters from target or a token. Ooh, that's pretty. We got a Lexi Marvel. Let's fucking go! That's very pretty. The hair and the border really pop. Again, sideboard card that's nice to exist in the game. Is there any like important applications of this right now? What right now in the game actually does this even work on? So Tunic, no one plays any of the induction chamber crap anymore. I guess you can remove counters from crank items. Oh no, this doesn't work on Tunic. Never mind. You can remove the counters from things like Malefics, I guess. You can remove the Doom counters from Looming Doom. That's kind of interesting. I guess as a vendor, I buy and sell cards. A lot of this is to supply my locals with cards, and then the rest is going for sale online. So if there's anything that you want in the set, just shoot me a DM. And it's all for sale. And if you would like to sell anything, let me know. I'm always buying cards. Yeah, I can't think of any other like important applications of this card right now. Yeah, I guess Enigma shields. It is an instant, so you can like cheese the Enigma. They attack with their thing, you remove the counter, and it loses go again. That's kind of funny. Combat trick to remove their go again. You can remove the counters from Insidious Chill. All of these are like legal game actions that I don't think are very good. Pilfer the Tomb. This is a zero cost blue generic instant. Choose one or both. Banish target instant from an opposing hero's graveyard. Banish target yellow card from an opposing hero's graveyard. Man. Can I get my gold back if they're going to print all this fucking hate cards? Oh, only tokens. Hmm. Ooh, Bone Puppetry Cold Foil. That changes things significantly. So it's what, Spectral Shields, Hyperdrivers. Not Shackles, right? Because those are individual tokens, right? People just represent it with a dice. Yeah, seems dubious. Uh this seems like a reasonable sideboard card though. Remove two CYBs from your graveyard. Seems pretty good. Obviously good against gravy. Yeah, it's all like silver bullet sideboard cards, which like I'm happy that they're printing some of these cards so that they exist in the game because with stuff like this existing in the game, it gives them more room for interesting designs that kind of push the boundaries of power level because then we will have the tools to deal with them. I think that's been a problem that the game's had in the past, where like something good will come out and we literally don't have the tools yet to deal with it. I mean, I keep start opening and then forgetting about the gold pack. Same as before, except for what this one does. Destroy target or a permanent with sigil in its name. Prevent one damage that would be dealt to target hero this turn. Huh. So this is the only one that out of them that always has a useful application. It can prevent one arcane damage. Looking for scrap and tenacity. Yeah, very pointed at Acilio for sure. Are there any other sigils that people play? Pretty sure it's just the Acilio ones that like people actually play or played. Last card, and this one I didn't really understand, so I'm going to need you guys to explain this to me of what the point of this card is. Drag Down, this comes in all colors. It is a red 0-cost generic defense reaction that blocks for 0. When this defends an attack, it gets -3 attack. What is the point of this over just like playing a defense reaction that blocks for 3 generically? What is the point of reducing the attack of it versus just blocking for 3? I guess Tarantula Toxin. Go ahead and reduce the defense of this. It already blocks for 0. Oh, Tower. That's a good one. Is there anything else like that that checks your current power? Great Axe. Okay, that's another good one. Anything that says if this is greater than its base and it's only being pumped once. Bolton. Thank God we finally got an anti-Bolton card. Thank God. Bolton was just running amok until now. Oh, thank you, LSS. This is exactly what we needed. Another chest. I still think that he needed a little bit of armor on his mustache. Just like a little piece of metal on the mustache would have been fire. What card is Strongest Survive again? Is that the Brute card that makes you discard? Oh, that's true. They could just respond. Yeah. You can. Okay, it does work against Bolton because what you do is you don't play your defense reaction. You say no blocks, no reacts. I'm sorry, you say no blocks, and when they activate Bolton, you respond to Bolton with this. That was something that you used to do in Monarch Limited. We got one box left, and I can show off the pulls after that. Not great. We're not happy about the pulls. Yeah, that's like reasonable. And if they only have one soul because they're fucking Bolton and getting soul sucks, you just end their turn. I literally did that. The Nats that I topped was Monarch Limited. I literally did that to people in that format with what's the prism card, the light card that you minus their, it's like not beaming blade. Blinding beam, I think it's called. That was so good in that matchup. You just end their turn. Just full time walk them. Oh my god, it was busted. And no one ever drafted that card, so I would get all of them. And it was like pretty important for 2 of your matchups. You needed it for the Bolton matchup and the Levia matchup. So it was like a really important sideboard card. And that's it. We're done. And we got one box and like 6 packs left, and then we'll review our pulls. So I guess feel free to ask me anything, chat. Because we got like, I don't know, like 15 minutes left of me opening packs, and then we're done. Is the calling still going on? I guess we could throw that up. Oh, we got another Tunic. Wahoo! The anti what? Did you mean to say anti sigil card? Is it? Doesn't it just trigger the sigil? So you're just trading your thing to prevent one of the damage from the sigil, I guess? That doesn't seem very good. You could have just AB woned and it would have been the same thing. Because it'll still trigger. Last block. Last gold pack. Last cuts I'm going to get on my hand from opening these fucking things. Snatch and Call to the Grave. Didn't know that even came in this. Womp womp. You said the new sigil. You're talking about this one, right? What are you talking about bouncing it? Who's bouncing it and with what? Thoughts all about the new pure necro cards. What could be the next necromancer be like based on those? So if you want my like review of the cards, I did go over them in this stream. So I would guess, oh, who's playing? Are people playing the Lightning Helm to bounce us back to their hand? Is that like something people are actually doing? That doesn't seem very good. Is that fun? Because the Lightning Helm, I'm going to answer the Necro question in just a second. I'm just thinking about this. The, the Lightning Helm, you like discard. Oh, I can't remember what the Lightning Helm does exactly. What's the name of the helmet? That doesn't seem very good. You're just blocking this to convert a card in your hand into 2 arcane damage, right? But by doing that, you're giving up on defense value because you could have just played a helm that blocks for 2. So you're saying I'm going to convert a random lightning card into my hand into 2 value and give up a value on my helmet. Doesn't seem very good. I mean, I don't actually really want to pitch in Briar, though. That's the thing. Sure, but none of this works in Acilio because this card is Runeblade. I suppose. This seems like a lot of hoop jumping to get like 2 points of value when I could have just like not gotten 2 value out of my card. Because like, what am I discarding to this, right? Like, my only lightning card that is worth 2 is this card. Because that's a discard of lightning card. Lightning Surge is worth 4. Discharge is worth 3. Lightning Press is worth 3. What else do you play for lightning? Like, aren't all of your lightning cards worth 3 or 4, and most of them have go again? Or are action point neutral? I don't even know if I would say that it's good in Aurora, because like, aren't all of your cards trading up? Like, all your cards are worth 3 or 4 for lightning? You guys can keep yapping about that, but I'm going to answer that Necro question. What do I think about the next Necromancer? I think we're going to get a Necromancer that summons allies in a slightly different way. So that way there's no overlap between them. Because I don't think they want Gravy to play the allies that the next Necromancer gets. I wouldn't be surprised if the next Necromancer cares about you being Hellbent also. Or having no cards in your hand. I still get the feeling it's going to care about discarding, though. No, you know what would be cool? Shadow Mech Romancer. Shadow Mechanologist Necromancer. You boost your allies into Banish, and they have Blood Debt and can be played from Banish. Now that would be cool. They're like void zombies. Robot void zombies. Yeah, but we gotta boost them. They're cyber zombies. They're like have you watched Invincible? They're like the Reanimen. Last 2 packs. No assassin. Fuck assassin. I'm so sick of assassin. All right, last pack. Time to get depression. Yep. All right, I'm gonna clean this off, and then we'll review the polls. I'm so sick of assassin. What a cringe class. Get rid of this. This is all the Majestics that we opened. This is all of the gold pack cards that we opened. Now let's kind of sort this out a little bit. So these come foil and non-foil? No, I think they're all foil. It's just some of them don't look very foil with the green. So we got 7 cold foils from the gold packs. Got involved in a minor argument on the calling stream today by saying something like 6 arcane is worse than 1 unblockable from flick knives. I think they're both comparable. They're both true damage situations that you need to have something different to be able to cover it up. They're both things that say you need to play the game in a different way than you normally would play the game. I think that's a lot of the strength that OG Prism used to have. When you're attacking for 1 that many times, it's kind of a similar thing where you're presenting your opponent damage in such a way that's awkward for them to block, and that's the value prop. Because the math isn't actually good on what you're doing. It's just the awkwardness of defending it. And back then, there really wasn't good ways to cover up 1 defense things or 1 power things. All the foil majestics that we got. The legendaries that we opened, and the marbles and cold foils that we opened. So let's do the legendaries first. I think that's it. Bro, this is ass. I got 7 legendaries in 39 boxes. What the fuck? Can you explain to me the difference between regular scar for a scar and antiquity scar? They look like the same to me art wise. The only thing I think it is the same art. A lot of these are the same artwork. It's like the legendaries that they changed the art on. And then for the special legendaries that we got from the gold packs, one Fable and 2 legendaries from the gold packs. Pretty pathetic pull rates. Marvel Heroes. Not the game. Pretty decent amount of Marvel Heroes. We got, what, like 10? And then like random cold foils and marvels. Oh, 1 more legendary. Missed that one. I figured you'd want the Lexi. Do you want the Riptide? all the other Marvels, and Cold Foil Majestics. Pretty decent amount of all of these. Pretty happy with this kind of pull rate because it means that you're getting like a number of things per box that are like good hits, dopamine hits. Like I really don't like when the boxes are the only thing that you're excited to open is legendary, but also like this is a pathetic amount of legendaries. This is ridiculous. I was really I don't know. When I was looking at the prices, it seemed like the legendaries came down significantly in price. Uh, With these kind of pull rates, though, I'm kind of surprised by that. Like, this feels like the market adjusted too much to these prices because these boxes are a premium price, and if these are the pull rates, this shouldn't impact the EV that significantly. But maybe bad boxes, bad sample size. I don't know. I'm just I'm a little surprised that the market tanked that much on a lot of these legendaries. So I'm expecting a lot of them to rebound if this is normal pull rates on stuff. What is I have a video going for. Hmm. When I click on Flesh and Blood tab, Compendium isn't even one of the options on the like drop down. I have to like select it manually. That's stupid. Why the fuck is this card expensive? This is like $70. The fuck? Ooh, Cage. Yeah, like Shelter at $40 for these kind of pull rates seems ridiculous. So you just can't get Eye of Ophidia in the set. You have to get it from one of those special packs. I roll. And it's still $300. So sick reprint. I'm so glad the affordability of the game is saved. Well, at least the riches is like $300. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about this set as far as everything goes. The reprints not being that accessible in the set. There not being any heroes printed in the set, like new heroes printed in the set. The heavy push towards Silver Age, and there really not being that many cards that are going to impact Classic Constructed, it seems like. I don't know how I feel about this one, boys. Hmm. Well, that at least wasn't my experience. If that's possible, I wouldn't know. These were opened out of the Antiquity packs. So if that's possible, I don't have the anecdotal experience of that. Well, I don't know how you guys feel. Holy shit. The gold packs are going for $75. $80. Sheesh. Which That makes no sense based on the like, man, the EVO of the box has to be terrible then, right? If all the value is here. Yeah, I don't like that it's mostly Sage stuff. That's why I'm going. I don't know how I feel about this. Like the I can understand the comms and rares being mostly Sage stuff. That's understandable. But the Majestics were like the majority of the Majestics were either this is completely irrelevant right now because this is for either a hero that doesn't exist or for a hero that's rotated, or it's a sideboard card. Like almost all the Majestics were sideboard cards. Whatever, good enough for now. I just wanted to like look at something here. That's not what I wanted. Like, what do we got for good cards that are going to see play from the Majestics? A lot of sideboard cards were just bad. This is an upgrade for Fringe set. Okay, this is probably going to see play. This is probably going to see play. Maybe some of these assassin things see a bit of Fringe play. This will see play. Slight upgrade for Prism, sideboard card. This will see play. This might see play. Most of these cards suck, or are sideboard cards, or you literally can't include this in a deck right now because there's no hero for it. I don't know which card Touch of Reality is. 1 second. I went over all of the Majestics on the first stream that we did, so if you want to like see my extended thoughts, go check that out. This card's good. I don't think it's good right now, but I think this card's good. Again, this is for a non-existent hero right now. Like this is an Enigma card, but it has the funny red letter at the bottom, so you literally can't play this anywhere. There's no format I can play this card. I'm not putting this in Prism. They did that with like a bunch of these cards where it's like this is just for nothing. So like a lot of the Majestics to me feel like bad to open. Yeah, I don't think I like this set. I liked the concept of the set. I don't like the execution of it. Where do I go for that? Hard vault? No. I got nothing. Maybe I have to like. Maybe it's not. Maybe they didn't put it here yet, but it's somewhere else, and you have to like have the right URL at the top. Because people were talking before about how like we already knew what the pull rates of stuff was, and like I imagine that would be something in the collector's center thing. Also, is this supposed to be spelled that way? Centre? Is that like actually a word or is that a typo? This is like a genuine like I don't know, and I would like to learn something new if that's like actually a thing. And this is a fucking horrible opening experience. Kiwis. I think the like intent with the set was supposed to be closer to like a Modern Masters or Modern Horizons, where it's like here's a bunch of high value reprints, and we're going to inject some cards into some formats specifically. So it's like somewhere between the two of them. But in execution, the reprints to me don't feel like they were printed enough that it's going to make a meaningful impact. Like I'm waiting for 6 months down the road because like the box prices are insane. $144 or whatever a box. That's insane. And for you to not get a money card most of the time is crazy. So it's just gambling. I mean it's all gambling, but you understand the point that I'm trying to make here. Um so yeah, if the reprints aren't printed enough, if the set doesn't impact constructed enough, and it's all just for Silver Age, that doesn't feel like a successful product to me. It feels horrible to open. Which means that in the long term, like we're gonna go 6 months down the road, and a lot of these cards won't be meaningfully impacted on pricing. Like we're gonna go back to all these legendaries being super expensive, but we're gonna have to wait forever for another reprint because we just got our reprint. So what was the point, you know? I think it's I don't have a problem with the set being a premium price. I don't actually have a problem with it being more expensive. But I have a problem with it being more expensive if the opening experience of the product is horrendous. Like if I'm spending 150 bucks, I should probably be able to get some good stuff out of the box. And if most people are having the anecdote of, yeah, I got a box and I got fucking horse shit in it, that's kind of a bad beats. Like I don't want to open it then. I think they at least got down um there being multiple dopamine hits a box. I think that's something that Fab has really struggled with of the opening experience of like it's legendary or bust in a lot of opening experiences, and all you're doing is cutting to the back of the pack to see if you got a legendary. Like there's a lot more things that you can open in these packs. You got the Marvels, you got the Cold Foil Majestics, you got the legendaries, you got the funny thing at the front of the box. You got extended art Majestics, you got cold foil extended art majestics. Like there's a lot of different things that you can open, and it seems like you get quite a few per box, which I think that's good. I mean, yeah, Master Pack Guardian feels bad because every card in the set's Guardian. It's all unplayable. The shitting on Guardian will continue until morale improves. Like this. Here. Make big. Stop snapping. Oh, I hate how it like snaps like that. Mastery Pack Gravy. Yeah, it might be. To me, it's up there with bright lights. I really didn't like bright lights. I didn't like the draft format. I didn't like the set. I mean, it's the same thing as Mastery Pack, right? Where it's just like, man, if I don't heckin' love Mechanologist, I don't give a shit about any of this. So for that one person at your LGS, they're going to be in love with it. But I mean, I didn't like Dusk Till Dawn because most of the cards sucked ass, and they still suck. Yeah, but like we're just talking about the opening experience of the product. Like if you're heckin' into Mechanologist, it's going to feel great. But other than that, whatever. But also back then they didn't put as many of like the vanity things in the boxes, so it's kind of boring. Again, it's the legendary or bust. I guess back then it was the Tome of Firebrand or Tome of Imperial Flame or bust. Anywho, so I have another obligation later on tonight at like 9, the Final Fantasy raid. If you guys want, I can stream that, but it's gonna be in like a little bit. I need to eat, so I'm gonna bounce to go eat. I'm gonna throw up a poll. Do people want to watch a 64-person raid? I don't care. I'm fine just doing this by myself and just being antisocial. But if people like want to watch this, that's true. I do be known to draw a picture or two in my raids. I mean, if that's the case, I will bounce to heat up my food and I'll bring my food back and just turn off my camera while I'm eating so you don't have to watch the horror show. Okay. I'm going to leave that poll up while I go grab some food. Uh, do I have a BRB screen? Did I delete it? Am I dumb? I think I'm dumb. The fucking Zoom. So far, we only have 2 people that have voted on the poll. Do people want to watch or not? I mean, who knows how much longer we're going to be using Discord. I feel so weird about it. It's like I'm opposed to the face verification thing going on Discord, but at the same time, my picture on Discord is literally just my face, so it's not like I actually care. I don't use face verification for anything, so it's not like this impacts me. But the principle of the matter is pretty important on it. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up. They're doing some bad shit on Discord. Hi Goblin. I'm wrapping up my Fab stream right now. I'm gonna go eat, and at 9 o'clock I have a Final Fantasy raid. I don't know if people will give a shit to watch me do that. If they did, I will stream it. If like no one actually wants to watch that and it's for like one person, I'm just gonna turn off stream and just vibe by myself. Sounds like not many people actually want to watch it. Only 3 people have voted on this, so probably just gonna turn off stream and vibe, which I'm okay with doing. Um, Apparently tomorrow is a holiday, so I'm just not gonna go to work tomorrow and do my TCG Player orders. I'm just gonna stay home and organize cards. There's a chance I might stream tomorrow also and do some like just talk with chat, sort cards, and probably watch something like maybe react to some content. There's the James White interview that just happened. There's the interview with oh, I'm spacing on his name right now. The guy in charge of organized play. He did an interview a little while ago that I've been meaning to watch, and I just haven't gotten around to it. So could always watch those, react to that with chat, hang out, while I organize all these fucking cards for TCG Player. So I might do that tomorrow. We'll see how I feel. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna turn off stream because no one's fucking voting on this thing. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. If you want any of these cards, just let me know. Message me on Discord, Twitter, whatever. I'm always buying. I'm always selling. Subscribe to the channel if you got value out of this.